Let some folks get in. For those of you who are coming back to watch this over, what's up? I'm Jacob with Very Good Knife Company. Happy to have you in. So, tonight we're going to be talking about all these knives on this table behind me, maybe even a few more. But for now, there's nobody in here, so we're going to just hang out. What's up, Steven? How's it going, bud? I'm trying to get it up on my TV. In the background again. I'm doing some work. Hell, what time is it down there? A late lunch and then back to work. What time is it down there? That's way off. Well, this damn at 8:30 here. Just about. Where's it at? There it is. Alright. Make sure I don't get any feedback. Alright, dude. So since you're on lunch break, I'll just cut right to it and show you some of the best stuff right off the bat. How about that? I'll just cheat and go that way. Because I want you to see some cool stuff. Alright, I'll show you the Signature Series. Here you go. Check it out. There's the dagger in your sheath. And there she is. This thing's pretty dang cool. I don't have my tape measure in here. I really didn't measure it. I don't know any of the specs on it at all. I didn't measure really any of it out. When I did it, I just kind of went for it. But it's got, as promised, that uni copper, and then I wanted a bolster look for the front and back, but I didn't want like bolsters. I just wanted it to kind of look like it. Yes, sir. This is that 3K twill carbon fiber. What's up, Jeff? How's it going, bud? And then in the center, we've got the uni-copper, fat carbon uni-copper. Now, the best part about it is they're dovetailed front and back. I nailed the evenness. I did a good job with it. I'm pretty happy with it. But I gave myself plenty of time for it, and I just, I mean, this wouldn't be one you would want to be on the other end of. I'll say that. The faces of the handle are really nice. You see, I snuck the Nitro V in there. No, this was all freehand, 100%. 100%. It's pretty sweet. It's almost perfect. It's right down the middle. I don't know that I could have gotten a whole lot better, honestly. But I'm pretty happy with how it came out. And I'll be asking a good penny for it. And if nobody wants to buy it, I really don't give a shit. I will keep it. I love it that much. This is just, I'm happy with this one. Everything's really nice. Everything's really nice. So the original stock on this is 3/16, and it's pretty thick, but you know, when you do daggers and you double grind them, there's just not that much left. So good to do daggers at a thick stock. And I didn't cut any away. There was no pushing back and forth. I mean, there's still a little cheek that runs right down the very center, and it's so microscopic. Anyway, that's the best, and I wanted to show Steven because Steven is probably my most loyal. Steven and Zachary are probably my most loyal on the live stream. So you guys are here for everything. So. And Steven's on lunch break, so we've got to show him all of the stuff. Now this is number 12. That was number 11. This is number 12. Here is number 12. This is also Nitro V. This one is flat ground. And you see it's got a big old choil there. And it's got that sweeping plunge line, kind of like a Revelation. It's ground up right up underneath that filing. Pretty good looking. It's nice and thin at the edge. This one's got dark matter red up front, and it's got ebony wood in the back. My lighting in here is not great, and it's not gonna get any better, so I honestly don't know what it's called, Steven. I don't know. I've made a good bit of blades like this style, and it just kind of comes out. I just like the way that uptick. I mean, it's not really like the tradition, or I mean, it's kind of nest monkey, but kind of not at the same time, you know. But this is number 12 here. Pretty sweet. It's got this one's got the Vibe Composites linen micarta liner, and then a thin white G10, and then I did more of that linen, and then a G10. This is a great looking knife. Oh, this one's got the grapevine pattern that I filed onto the back. Can't forget that. It's pretty dang good looking. I like some nice file work. This thing's sweet. Really sweet. Somebody's gonna be happy with this. And I kind of matched or opposed the curvature of this with the handles to make a V. That's pretty sweet. I like it. What's up, Larry? How's it going, bud? Larry's a big time supporter as well. All right, that's number 12. Let's go to 13. All right, you guys are gonna like 13 because I like 13 a lot. I think it's pretty dang cool. Losing my balance. This is number 13 in a gray sheath, and it is another blast finish, another blast matte finish. Now this one has got some double black micarta up front, and it has got a new to me fat carbon white storm in the back, and it has got some about 30-degree dovetailed, and I only did the blue liners on the fat carbon, so it's got a little chevron, little check mark there. These are pretty dang sweet. I don't do any forging. I do all stock removal, but when I get these knives, they are in bar stock form, and I turn them into this entirely. This one has got a deep hollow grind, and it is super thin behind the edge. Let's see how thin this one is behind the edge. For such a 3/16 stock, that's a thick stock. This one comes down to, I brought my caliper. I'm going to bring it to Blade Show because some people get all nitpicky and willy-nilly about things. So this one is right about 14 thou behind the edge, 14 thousandths behind the edge. It's pretty thin for a thick knife. And that hollow grind comes way up. This one's got a double grind, and this was apexed but not sharpened. It's probably about 50 thou up here, and it tapers down to about 20, 25 on the back right here. It's apexed, nice taper. This is a great looking knife, and this one has a lot of contouring, a whole lot. You can see it's got quite a Coke bottle shape to it. It feels really good. I kind of wanted to match the grind, the top grind, and I wanted the handle face to drop down and meet the top of this grind, hence this shape right here. You know, and this one has got more of those Vibe Composites linen micarta. This is the lunar linen. That last one, the red one, was the crimson. Pretty dang good looking stuff. This is a great looking knife. I like the addition of the blue, the splash of the blue. This one reminds us of like a stormtrooper. It's pretty sweet. And the gray sheath ties it all in. You know, when I was doing this, I was finishing the handle and I couldn't get it the way that I really wanted it. And I don't know, the knife just wasn't popping. And I took it into the missus who was sitting in the office in there. And I was like, tell me I'm crazy right now before I actually pull the trigger. Because, you know, once you go back, or once you go on with bead blasting, yeah, I bead blasted it. Once you go on with bead blasting, there's no going back once the handles are all glued in. And, you know, I just didn't know what to do. So we settled on bead blast, and it was what it needed. So, all right, and that was 13. That was number 13. Let's go with number 14. Here's something that you guys have not seen yet. At least you guys have not seen yet from Very Good Knife Company, and that is Stag. Now, I have a little supply of Stag. I used to have a truck bed full of Stag. This is number 14. Vintage linen micarta. And then there's an inlay of fat carbon jungle wear. I couldn't get it out. This is jungle wear. Yeah, this is elk Stag. I have a good bit of whitetail, but these are dovetailed in as well, so they don't ever pop out because they're not pinned in. Everything, at least the inlays are just glued in, but they're dovetailed so they won't ever pop out or raise up. And then there's a orange liner, a splash orange liner in there. And this has got more of the Vibe Composites linen. This is the, what'd they call it? They had a special name for this kind of green. Anyway, the green, that liner is hot. I'm going to have to get some of that in like the full thickness, like a 3/16. Thank you, Scotty McFly. You have a lovely day. So this knife is hollow ground. This was a sneak in. I just kind of threw it in there last minute, and it's got a little ramp here. It's I don't know what you call it, but signature series. It just, I go to the grinder and I grind it, and if it comes out, whatever. Deep hollow grind, real deep hollow grind. This one's probably around the well, let's see. This one's probably around the 10 or 12 mark at the edge. Oh, not there. It's 11, sitting right on 11. So she's thin, super thin. Kevin Smith and Knives, what's up? Hollow ground. So it's got that vintage linen up front, and I didn't have a whole lot of that on the table. I did throw an extra knife in there with that vintage linen in the form of a Tradition Junior. That is number 14, pretty sweet. So the Stag, the Corby screws are cut to match kind of the shape of the Stag. It's hard to tell. It's the way I like to do the Stag. I really don't like to take too much of the natural bark away. I've done a lot of Stag, a lot of Stag in my days. And I just wore myself out on it, which is why you guys never see anything from Very Good Knife Company with Stag on it. There is one knife that has Stag on it. It is a Revelation, and I know the person that owns it, and that is how they got it. Other than that, it's pretty limited, and I don't advertise that I do it because I don't keep very much of it, and I don't go looking for it either. So that's a nice rare one. Now that we've seen the top, hell, you guys probably don't even want to see anything else now. The rest of these are going to look boring. Those are pretty good knives. Pretty good. I like them. So let's get on to what we're taking. That, of course, those four. Here's the, I'll just show you the first one sitting next to me without a box. This knife, I'm going to do a giveaway. What's up, JBP? This knife is going to be part of the Georgia Bushcraft giveaway. So I'm donating this one to them. And they're going to put a little sign on my table. So Matt Gillenwater is going to get this knife and give it away. Now, what are we taking as far as models? You've seen the Signature Series. Maybe Jacob Peterson did not. I'll give him a tease. Did you see the Signature Series, Jacob?
No, he just doesn't.
No? Okay. Here. I'll show you the dagger. Check it out. Check it out. That's my centerpiece.
That's screaming.
That's my centerpiece. I like it. You're going to hold it in like 2 days. She's pretty nice. All right. So now let's look at all the models that I will have and what kind of variants of those models I will have. First and foremost, I just showed that that giveaway adventure that's going to Georgia Bushcraft. That's an Adventure Junior, and it's ADCRV2 and black candles. Base model. Now, I'll start with base model and then work my way up. I've got a price tag on everything, and everything's pretty much ready to go. Actually, I just finished this up a couple hours ago. This is an Adventure VG01. ADCRV2, this one is 3/16. That's what Adventures usually come in. This one's got denim blue micarta. That is absolutely by far on our books the most popular color for an Adventure. I mean, it exceeds. I'll put it this way. I put one Adventure Nitro V with denim blue up like 8 months ago and sold that same knife 8 times. I was happy. But I had other Adventures in the store, like a red one and something else. I had another good one in the store, and nobody wanted that, but they just wanted the blue. So, stepping it up, we've got a Nitro V Adventure. This one is a special. It's got a gray sheath. So as far as the colored sheaths go, I'm not positive that I will keep doing a whole bunch of them. I will do runs. As far as requests go, most of your, like if you're shooting me in an email for an order, it's going to be a black sheath. Unless you request it and I happen to have it. I won't hold the process up to order Kydex, in other words. But for runs, I will definitely do some more colored sheaths. Here is an Adventure next on the list. This is a special Nitro V. This one is 5/32. Now, I'm not saying that it's better than the 3/16, because I've been carrying the 3/16 for 10 years, and I didn't want to carry anything else. I just made myself a new one, an Adventure, a Gen 3 with my same dark green. This is the last pieces that I have of it. I'm hoping to score some more maybe at Blade Show. This is a Gen 3 Adventure, and this one will be there as well. I may be inclined to sell it at the end of the show, or but that's my new carry knife, and I went to 5/32 just to try it. It's been really popular, and I've made several for several people, again, request orders with the 5/32. Including Gabe with Last Huntsman. He just got a red one in 5/32. That's what the Hawk is, which is his design. Pretty close, similar handle. Anyway, this is an Adventure with Arctic Storm Fat Carbon. Pretty sweet. What's up from Iceland? I don't know how to pronounce that. I wouldn't even know where to start, and I feel like it might be insulting if I tried. So, welcome in from Iceland. All right, that's number 2. Let's move on to the... Did I do miss one? I did miss one. All right. Here I've got another Gen 3 Adventure. This one is all black. All black. Black sheath. And oh, you're getting fun out of it then. So this is an 80 CRV2 Gen 3. The only 80 CRV2 Gen 3 that I have on the table. But it's black Cerakote, black micarta, black screws. Adventure 80 CRV2, that'll be on the table. Alright, next up, I got another Gen 3 Adventure. And this one is my flavor. Green sheath, green micarta handle. See the etching on the sheath right there? With the green micarta, it turns white, like a lighter color minty green. But on the black, it turns like a yellowish, bronzish color. I've played with settings a lot, and I've read that you can get them to certain colors, but I'm not able to get anything better than that on the black. This is what it looks like on the green with the same setting. It's so cool, like a minty green. That gives me ideas for doing like a whole sheath laser etched with like a flag or something. Green is the best color. That's right, Jeff. Jeff and I are green buddies. Jeff's got a couple of nice knives. He's got one with some jungle wear, fat carbon. This is a Nitro V Adventure with the bronze Cerakote. Generation 3. Hey, I like Nat too. I carried Nat for a long time. You know what I like about Nat? I like the way Nat colors over time. And I mean, I love it. I love it more than green. In fact, I didn't carry a green handled knife over Nat until I carried my last double green knife. I love Nat. I'm a Nat fan too. But it was a Nat handle on a green blade. And I'm just a green fan. Everything in my shop is green too. So, alright, so that'll be on the table. That Nitro V Gen 3 Adventure. And green and a bronze blade. Pretty sweet. That is all for the adventures. I do wish I had more time to make more knives, but I did not have more time. Alright, here is, let's start low. We're starting low, like base model, building up. Alright, here is the Traditions. This is what I've got for Traditions. This is another green one, a green sheath. What's up, Manny Neves? Big time supporter of me and this channel. Thank you, Manny, for being here. I'm happy to see you, bud. This is a Tradition, green sheath, green handles, 80 CRV2, not Nitro V, 80 CRV2 blade. Pretty sweet. These things are absolute laser beam slicers with that deep hollow grind. Great looking knife. Green sheath. That's what we got. That one's going to be on the table. Stepping up, you rarely ever see special Traditions, although I make them from time to time, like custom orders. Black sheath Tradition with Mars Valley fat carbon. This is awesome. This is a Nitro V Tradition. This guy is killer. Killer, killer, killer. They're a little slicked up with oil right now. That's why they're extra, extra shiny. But I mean, they're still finished nice. And I did hit them with a little bit of Neverdull, which you guys can do. It's real cheap, and it's I like Neverdull because you pinch off little pieces of cotton. So this is a fat carbon special Tradition Nitro V. Orange and red is the colors that you're going to get with Mars Valley. I have some more in Lava Flow, and they're, unless you've looked at a lot of fat carbon, or unless you have them side by side, it's hard to tell. The difference is Lava Flow does not have orange, and Mars Valley does. So that's the special Tradition. And the base model Tradition, here is the Gen 3 Tradition that I have. This one has got a flat dark earth sheath. and Nat Canvas micarta, black screws, bronze blade. She's hot. I like this color combination. Again, I'm a Nat fan as well. I know I said I'm a green fan. Only recently did a year ago did I trade my canvas, my Nat canvas out for green canvas. So JBP's a Nat fan as well. This right here is killer. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. I love all the different tans. Pretty dang sweet. So this is a Nitro V tradition, full-size tradition. Flat dark earth sheath, black screws. I think the only way that this could have been better is if I matched the Cerakote coat on the screws. Pretty dang sweet. Yep, I agree, bud. It's awesome. It is awesome. All right, moving on. Let's look at some of the more, I'll just run through all 5 of these since they're all stacked together. These are my utility purpose-built knives. And I only have one of each of these because, in truth, nobody ever... here's the deal with linemen and electrical workers. A lot of them spend a lot of time sitting in trucks and they're racking up money the entire time on storm duty. On storm duty, I will start getting orders for knives from linemen with money to burn, and they're ready to have knives. They are ready to have them now. And every time I have something, it's not what they want. What I'm saying is they're not afraid to get what they want. They're not afraid to wait for what they want. So they ain't going to want that. They're going to want fat carbon or something special. You know why? Because everybody else on the cruise is trying to one-up each other. And there ain't nothing wrong with that for me. That is the Splicer ADCR V2. This right here's got some oil on it. This guy is about 8 thousandths behind the edge. It's very thin and very humongously slicey. It's hollow ground all the way to the spine, but I leave a tiny little bit of cheek just for a little bit of strength. But these guys are thin. And these right here are cable splicing knives or small wire splicing knives, electrical knives. It's got a safety yellow sheath, and the logo comes out silver on this one. It's pretty cool with the laser. That's the Splicer. I've got one of those. This is another one of my utility knives. So again, all 5 of these that I'm about to show you are, this right here is a jack. This was made to take the place of a like a folding box cutter. Hollow grind, 3/16 stock. You can sharpen this until the day you die and still have some knives left, still have some life left with that deep hollow grind. Pretty hollow grind, and it's got a little bit more of like a secondary beak in there, a sub hilt if you will, to add for pull cuts. You understand? So again, this was kind of made to take the place of that folding box cutter. So much beef, but yet it's still finesse capable, very finesse capable. Safety yellow sheath on that one as well. I only got one of those. That's the jack.
Show your adventure again.
My everyday carry
Yes.
is oh, I see it on the TV now. Adventure. This one is an ADCR V2. I went with ADCR V2 because I did not have the time or the foil to heat treat myself, or the steel. I didn't have the steel. I've got two of them on the board, Nitro V, on order, and I don't have the steel for them yet. So I went with ADCR V2. This is the Lineman XL, and before I even pull it out, I'll just go ahead and show you why it's called XL. We'll start with the regular size Lineman. I have one of these and one of the XLs. No, I quit carrying fixed blade or folders because I'd lose them, and I'm also really mean to my knives, like really stupid mean. I know that being able to make myself another has a big factor, plays a big factor in that, but I do have a good collection of some folding knives. I quite like them. I just prefer not to carry them because I lose them. This is the Lineman Standard 80 CRV2 Nat Canvas micarta. This one you can see is somewhat of a hawkbill. Now this is for skinning bigger wire, of course. A lineman is an electrical worker that works on power lines. Hence the name. Anyway, in case you didn't know. Safety yellow sheath. Super, super nice package. These, I'm actually switching to 5/32 because of the weight. These guys hold them, all day, and they really, they want them light. So I started lightening them up as much as possible and skeletonizing handles and like honeycombing them with drill press anyway. But I went to 5/32 stock on those to lighten it up even more. They were 3/16, which you know, if you're gonna be holding it all day, it makes sense. That's the Lineman. Here, I forgot to go on with that. This is the Lineman XL. Same knife, obviously, with the name being the same. It's a bigger knife though. The Lineman has 2 screws. Lineman XL has 3 screws in the handle. Now this knife was made for insulator gloves. I have not big hands, but not small hands either. They're slightly above average, so I wouldn't call them big though. This has a ton of handle, and it's for insulator gloves. You know, the big red gloves, or the leather with the rubber liner gloves, like the rubber insulator gloves for high voltage. This is pretty much the same knife again, albeit this one has what's called a shiner. So linemen will call these bucket knives. This is called a bucket knife in that industry because they leave this knife in the bucket. Now Klein makes one as well, and you know, I'm not trying to contend with them because I can't put out mass production numbers like they can because their shit comes from China or whatever. But Klein makes one with a big old ring on the end so they can hang it on a hook in the bucket, or the tool board, which hangs over the edge of a bucket. I'm talking about like a bucket truck boom bucket. That's what this is for, insulator gloves. Anyway, that's the Lineman XL. I've got one of those, and I've got the Lineman Standard. Do I expect to meet a whole lot of linemen there? Probably not. I mean, it's not the most common of jobs, but here in Georgia, here in the South, it is a pretty common job. All right, and I got one more utilitarian purpose-built knife. This was also meant to somewhat take the place of that pocket folding razor box cutter knife, right? This is called the Roughneck. It's an 80 CRV2 Nat Canvas micarta 3/16 stock. This dude is a beefster. These are about 190 bucks. That's what these run. So this one has a compound grind, hollow here, and it has got a flat grind up front. What's up, Patriot Hudson? I use your splicer in the bucket. Heck yeah, man. See there, guys? I supply to a good bit of linemen. In fact, one of my real good friends who helped me develop the Lineman and the Lineman XL and the splicer, Victor. Yes, it is half chisel, half knife. That's it, dude. That's what it's, I mean, so I did the abuse test with 80 CRV2 abuse test with this knife. I still have the knife in my shop, actually. It's my Kydex cutter. So, this is an absolute monster of a knife. And if you hurt one, you did something wrong. Or maybe you need to consider just carrying a chisel or a pry bar instead of a knife. Because 3/16 the tip is so beefy on these, yet it's still fine. I mean, it's still about 40 thousandths at the tip where it starts to taper into its secondary edge there, or the main edge, which is about 17, 18 degrees. It's pretty laid back, and it's about 20 thousandths on the hollow grind side. It's about 40 on the tip, and the point of that is so you can have a tip that, I mean, I'm not going to say indestructible, but you get where I'm going with that.
You have an abuse video on that one.
Yeah, I do have an abuse video on that one. But with the hollow grind, it's a good test as well. All right, moving on to more interesting knives, because those are cool. In truth, I don't like making any of them, none of them. I want to turn those, all those 5 that I just showed you, my utilitarian knives, into full-scale production run knives, because I want to be able to supply linemen across America. So I actually was offered a contract for making knives, which I did not have the feet to fill the shoes of just so quick. This was last year. I was offered the spot of providing knives for IBEW of Georgia, which was somewhere around 1,000 blades. And I said that I don't even make that in a year, so it won't happen. I'm sorry. Ridiculous, right? But like I said, I know linemen, and I do a lot for them. So my name got thrown out there, and it came up. Here is another blade that is on the table. This is the Mantis. Flat dark earth sheath, green micarta handle, 80 CRV2 blade. This one's got some oil on it. Everything's got oil on it. Pretty dang sweet blades. These are about 6 3/4 inches long, yet you get a full 4-finger grip on there. Even choking up, hell, even moving back and leaving some space up front, I'm still getting full 4 fingers. These are great blades. Flat ground 1/8 inch stock. Randy over at Georgia Adventurer carries one of these. He has carried it so much. It is such a pretty looking knife now, because it is nap micarta, and it just turned into some rich dark caramelly color the way that nap does. The blade's all teenered up, and it's a good looking knife. I'm happy that Randy likes it too. So I'll have one like that on the table. Mantis and 80 CRV2. And next up we got a Mantis Special. Now this one I actually saved from a long time ago. The last big specials drop I did, I had this one. This was one of 2 that did not sell, and they got put back right away. I'm positive they would have if I'd have left them in there, gave them a couple more days, but I needed something for Blade Show, so I set back a few knives. This is a Mantis in Nitro V, and it is wearing the Frost Fat Carbon, blue and white Frost Fat Carbon. Pretty dang sweet looking blade. Got some fluff on there from my microfiber towel. That is a pretty good looking blade. That is going to be on the table. Mantis Nitro V Special wearing Frost. Alright, and the last Mantis that I have here is another green one. This one is wearing the Grip Tech green sheath, Nitro V Generation 3. This one's got the black Cerakote, and I'm loving how my logo's super shiny, because in person it's only that way if you turn it just the right way. It catches light and it flashes like that. That's pretty awesome. But that edge on the black blade, is that not hot? It's hot in here. I know that. There's no air conditioning in this room. I'm going to go to the storage unit and get me a window unit for in here. Pretty dang good looking blade. Gen 3 Nitro V Mantis. First of its kind, wearing green grip tech. Now I'm kind of mixed feelings about this stuff, given that it is a pain in the neck to work with compared to other things. I know that it's softer, it grinds faster, it drills easier, and it does everything. But it makes 3 times as much of a mess, and it is 3 times as much of a pain to get it exactly the way that I want it without defects or flaws, as opposed to micarta and other harder things. It just works so quickly that it makes it difficult to fly through. Drives me nuts. But it's a blasted finish on that, and the texturing on this is unreal. It is so Grip Tech, if you don't know, Grip Tech is a rubber resin. All those little black flecks in there, that's all rubber. It's a little tiny pieces of rubber. And so what I've done is, after finishing this knife, I've taken it all apart to blast the blade. Obviously Cerakote. It's black color, and this Grip Tech was blasted on its own as well, and I blast it to bring out that final texture feel of all the rubber. Now you can almost see how textured the rubber is. You just have to feel what it feels like, you know? I mean, it's hard to explain. It's pretty dang cool. Grip Tech is made by Rock Solid Scales. Matt over at Rock Solid Scales hooked me up with some of this a while back, and I've got some more of this to show as well. It's not a whole bunch, but I think I've got 3 or 4 in here. Gen 3 Mantis. Gen 3 Mantis. That's going to be on the table. And let's get these other ones put away, because I don't have to reorganize everything every time. Alright, up next, the next model is BG06. It is the Wasp. One of my most popular models of all time. This has got a, oh yes sir, I've got some clip points coming. No worries. Just 2, 3 more down the line. We've got some clip points coming. I'm a clip point fan. This is a Wasp. This one is ADCRV2, hollow ground, 1/8 inch stock. So it's relatively thin and beefy, but the edges on these are pretty thin. 15, somewhere around in the neighborhood of 15 thousandths. That's where I like these Wasps.
That's my favorite.
That is the Mrs. Carrie. She's got one of these in Nitro V, wearing purple haze fat carbon with Tiffany blue liners. It's pretty cool. Yes sir, I'll see you there, man. I will definitely see you there. Yeah, Matt, he's finally started selling sheets. So he sold the Grip Tech in scales forever, and he even sold little blocks, I think, but he wasn't selling or even having big sheets done. And I was like, look dude, I can't do scales. They don't do anything for me, you know. Like at 25 bucks for a set of scales, that's one knife. I'm not, you know, my well, you guys know, if you know, my margins are thin, and I like to make knives that sell for pretty much nothing. I would love to give my knives away. You know what? I would just want to be wealthy enough to like give a bunch of knives away at Blade Show. Doing well enough. Anyway, here's an ADCRV2 Wasp, just like yours, JVP. This one is ADCRV2, although it's not wearing the green. This one is wearing the black. This one is wearing the black. And a green sheath. Anyway, Matt did start selling big sheets of Grip Tech. Big enough for me. So I got some. I got the green, Viridian blue, and black. That's what I got. I got 3 of them. They're pretty expensive, man. They're way more expensive than micarta, I'll say that. So this is another Wasp. This is a special, wearing a gray sheath. This one is in Nitro V, nice and thin. This one's about the same as the other, somewhere around that 12 to 15 mark is where I like the Wasp. That's a little 12's on the thinner side for ADCR V2. I usually will do the Nitro V just slightly thinner. But this one, you can see that nice Wasp swedge there. This one is wearing Fat Carbon purple, not purple haze, dark matter purple. Damn it, it even says purple haze on the box. She wrote purple haze on the box. She's laughing because it fucked me up. This one is wearing the dark matter purple. I almost said it again. Dark matter purple. This one is an awesome knife. The purple haze Fat Carbon was the most popular Fat Carbon for the Wasp. It was the most requested. That and oh, I forget. Anyway, whatever. Doesn't matter. It's not important. That's I've got shirts. I've got some shirts. Hit me up. I'll get you one, buddy. I've got a box of them sitting right here. And they just came in the mail today. Today, we were sweating, wondering if they were going to make it on time. Look at there. They're here. We get our shirts from Chameleon. These are really nice t-shirts. All right. Here is the last Wasp that I have. This is a Gen 3 completely blacked out, exactly the way I wanted to do. Kind of like that adventure you saw earlier. That was ADCR V2. This one is Nitro V, completely blacked out Wasp. This thing is awesome. Grip Tech black. So you can't really see the specs, but you can see like the difference in, I mean, you can see the texturing on the surface there, kinda. This is a all black Wasp. Black screws, black Cerakote, black Grip Tech, and that black Grip Tech is blacker than the darkest double black micarta that you can get. I mean, it's black. So it looks really good. I like it. There's no sheen to the black at all. And this Cerakote is a full flat finish. It's very, very flat. There's more light off of it than there is the Grip Tech. See that? That Grip Tech just it absorbs the light. It's really awesome. That is an awesome looking knife. I love the black, the full blackout. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do a blackout, and I did it. I'm happy. I'm way happy. All right. So moving on to one that is probably the most underrated knife that I have. Probably the most underrated knife that I make, honestly. That is, where'd the other one go? Oh, there it is right there. Dumbass. All right, that is the Rambler. The Rambler, I think, is the most underrated knife that I have. Mm-hmm. I was talking about Victor earlier, the lineman. His favorite everyday carry for a long time was Rambler. He is now carrying Signature Series number 6 or something like that.
Same for me and same for Earl.
He bought that one on the drop, and he carries it. He's like Chad Griffin carries Signature Series number 9 or so every day. They don't care. They just want to use them. So this is the Rambler ADCR V2 blade. It is a saber grind, flat saber grind. It is about 18 thousandths to 20 thousandths at the edge, behind the edge. That's what I like these knives. These are absolutely awesome carving knives. They are so good at carving. I just don't sell a whole lot of them. I think because they don't look super attractive. I know that they kind of look like a pocket steak, or a sheath steak knife or a paring knife. I get that.
They're great.
They are really underrated knives. They're such good work knives. 1/8 inch stock, but it's got a full handle and thick scales like the rest of the knives. It's got the 1/4 inch micarta scales to thicken it up. and it's got the big pins instead of the small pins. So this is the only full size or fuller size model that I make with 1/8 inch stock. This one, and it's a fantastic knife. It just is. I mean, I made one for myself, my wife, and all 4 of our kids. They are all different colors, but they were all made at the same time. That's our family. I've taught them how to carve with them, and taught them how to use a knife. Taught them how to take care of a knife. My oldest daughter, she carries hers every day and has for about 8 months now. She's 15 and a half this year. She'll be 16 this year. Holy shit. Alright, enough about that. Jesus H. Christ. Excuse me. God forgive me. So, this is another Rambler that'll be on the table. This is a very rare one because this is a special Rambler, a Nitro V. I do make a good bit of Nitro V. You know what? Every time I get an order for a Rambler, they're in Nitro V. Nobody ever wants them in ADCR V2, and that's good and dandy, but you're missing out. I think the ADCR V2 Rambler is awesome. But anyway, take care, Christian. Thanks for stopping in and watching, bud. Here is the Rambler Nitro V wearing fat carbon jungle wear. This is it for me right here. I would carry this knife. This is right up Jeff's alley too. I know because it's green. He's got I think he's got a Hornet with jungle wear on it. So this one will be on the table. Nitro V Rambler. This one's got a black sheath. Awesome looking knife. Next up, this is one of my favorites of the entire run of knives that I just did. This is one of my favorites right here. Here's the Gen 3 Rambler. This one's wearing a flat dark earth sheath. Pete, what are you doing, Pete? My cat in here goofing off. This is the Gen 3 Rambler. Rambler versus Adventure for money. How big a guy are you, Steven? Seriously. I mean, I'm not trying to like call you out or nothing. I'm a bigger dude, and I've always preferred the Adventure. Maybe that doesn't make a difference to everybody else, but I'm not a scrawny guy. I'm somewhat hefty, although I'm not like a. I'm not. You know what? Never mind. For me, okay. How hard do you really use it if you have to? I mean, really get into it. Ask yourself that question. If you fall on the like very respectful side of use, this is your knife. If you fall on the more abusive side of use, this is your knife. They're only like 15, 20 bucks apart or something like that. Biggest thing that has to do with stock, which the 5/32 Adventure will be a little less than 3/16. But yeah, I think you would like the Rambler, honestly. I know last time we was talking about live stream, or was talking on the live stream, I think I was showing some of the ADCR V2 ones, but the Rambler is killer. I mean, it's really killer. I carried mine, not daily, but I carried it to go out and carve in the woods and do things with the kids, and you know what? You guys know that I did carry that one for. I did. It's too light for me. I carried a 3/16 heavy Adventure for so long that I find myself missing the weight. And I'm not gonna lie, since I switched to the 5/32, just in the past week, it's been almost a week now that I've carried it. I'm starting to miss the weight already. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I just know that it's there all the time, and it's been on my belt for so long that I've carried. I can just tell when it's not there, and I can even tell the difference in just a couple grams, honestly. But that's what happens when you carry the same thing for so long and never switch it up. This is light for me. This was Jeff says, just buy one of each. There you go. Steven's got a pretty nice collection. He's got some specials, I know that. But anyway, that's the Rambler Gen 3. Pretty underrated knife. An absolute hell of a work knife. You love it. One of my good friends swears by his Rambler. Earl swears by his Rambler. And I mean, that's the knife for him. OCDS. Alright. Let's get the mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are next. I've got 3 of these guys. I've got one in ADCRB2 with the red micarta. These guys are, there's not a whole lot to talk about these because they're so dang tiny. But they're good knives. They're really good knives. I sent Tim one a while back, a long time ago. Like early on in our relationship. And Victor's got one. Jordan had 1 or 2. Victor's got 2 or 3 of them, honestly. I gave him one of these. Yeah, Steven's got a Mosquito too. One with fat carbon, I believe. Tell me something, Amber Sparkman. Tell me. I'm all ears. All eyes. Because I'm not listening to you say it. I'm sorry. I'll show myself out. So Victor's got one of these. The first thing he did with it was take the lanyard off and put his keychain through one of the bendy, huh? Alright. You better go cool off then. Alright. That's the Mosquito in ADCRB2 red micarta. Next up is the Mosquito Nitro V. Now this is the only other knife that I did with the safety yellow. You know what? I didn't want this to be the reason why something wouldn't sell. I know that there are people out there that like it. I'm not one of them. Unless it's on something utilitarian like all the utility knives. You know where it is. If it comes off your belt, you drop it. You know, yeah, I don't know. Shit. Just for a little extra visibility on the ground. You know, because you're doing dangerous jobs using those knives. But for everyday carry, why do I don't want to be seen by anyone already. So I don't want to add reasons for people to look at me. So I wouldn't I wouldn't want to carry something this bright. However, with the dark matter yellow scales that this one is wearing, I do quite like it. And the fact that there isn't much of it. There is very, very, very little Kydex here. And that makes me happy. So I just, you know, I almost did like an orange handle with that. I was going to do that for the splicer, and I just completely forgot about it. But, you know, I only got one other ulti-clip on your Mosquito, like in your pocket or on the belt. Hell, with ulti-clip, you can clip it anywhere you want. You can clip it on your damn shirt collar if you want. Be a little heavy. But these things are sweet. I mean, they are super, 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 super slicey. This one, again, I like ADCRB2 just a little bit thicker. I'll go a little thinner on a Nitro V. This one is, come on, right there. This one's sitting right on about 9 thousandths behind the edge. I know that's not like stupid, massively ridiculous thin. I don't believe in the whole hyper thin. Any thinner than that, I mean, you're risking things, and it just doesn't need to be that damn thin for me. So this one's super thin, hollow ground. This one's got the dark matter yellow. The dark matter yellow looks like lightning in a dark storm cloud sky. It's pretty cool. But that with the yellow sheath, I dig it. I dig it. I would carry it, and I'll show you how I would carry it. Just like this. See there? Because no yellow. I don't want you guys looking at me out in public. Oh, and I have one more. Mosquito. Can you do me a favor? Can you get me a POUR, please? This is the Gen 3 Mosquito. This one is wearing a gray sheath, purple micarta, and it's got the bronze blade. So purple over bronze, and it's pretty cool. We were looking at colors, like what to put on things. Didn't really know what to do, and we just kind of ran with it. Bronze with the purple. That's pretty cool. So, the Missus carries a bronze and purple as of recent. Hers was made at the same time, mine, and that extra adventure, that black one, the Gen 3 ADCRV2. So she got a bronze blade, but she got the purple micarta. They're awesome, man. They're awesome. And you know what? They kind of take longer because of like stall times. Everything that's Cerakote has got to be degassed, so it's got to be blasted after grinding. It's got to be blasted and then cleaned really thoroughly, and then degassed. I do like a 15-minute degas in the oven, and then it's got to cool, and then I got to mix paint, Cerakote, go spray them. Then they've got like a 20. I usually let them go for 20-25 minutes flash time, and that way there's no like glossy spots or anything. And then they cure. Once they're cured, it's over. In a sense, they kind of take longer. In a sense, they don't. There's like a $50 price difference between two. However, I intend to change that. I want to lower those numbers. Right now, they're going to be more expensive because I'm having to buy smaller things of Cerakote. I'm having to do smaller batches. When the time comes that I am able to do bigger giant runs, and I mean giant as in like 30 plus runs of things, you know, that's a lot bigger than what I'm doing now, even though I'm really cooking for a single maker. I really want to get the prices down because in truth they're easier to make. Even though they take a little longer and there's a few more steps involved, it's easier to get them looking exactly the way that you want them, as opposed to the belt satin, which takes, I mean, you guys know how long that takes. I do that on live stream all the time. You especially, Steven, you know how long that stuff takes. And having to really dial in and get those 400 grit bevels right, and everything, you know, back and forth between the surface grinder, and you don't have to worry about any of that. You just finish her down to 120, you blast it, you know, and take care of splitting slices. Good to see you. Not I, buddy. No Biden voters in this damn house. All right, moving on. Now we've got, after the Mosquito, the next model on the number-wise. Let's see. I got a job for you. Will you please escort all your friends out now? Thank you. Have a good one. This is a Walkabout. This one is an ADCRV2, black sheath. This one is wearing the blue micarta. Now, like the Adventure, this is the most popular color. This one's just got oil and some little fuzzies and stuff on it. High Saber flat grind, 3/16 stock. This is one of my favorite knives. I have one in this tote right here below me at my feet, and it's one of my favorite knives. Seriously. Have a good one, buddy. Good to see you. Get the fuck out. All right. This is adventure. My goodness. I was having fun with that. A Walkabout in ADCRV2. Blue micarta. Got one of those. I only have 2 Walkabouts. The bigger knives just, you know, Oh, the Big Adventure, that's it. It's actually the Big Rambler. It's an upscaled Rambler instead of an Adventure because of the Adventure is a flat grind. The Rambler is the other high saber grind. It's actually a scaled up Rambler. See there? It's pretty sweet, isn't it? So this, I mean, it kind of is the bigger Adventure, but you know, they're kind of in this and the Adventure are in the same kind of class. But this is my combination for bushcraft. That's my combo. I've got a Rambler with the same dark green micarta that I like, and then a Walkabout. They're both 80 CRV2, and they both have the matching green. But anyway, I've got another Walkabout, one more Walkabout, and it is a Gen 3 wearing a green sheath. I don't have any green 1/8 inch kydex, and I was not about to buy any either. So you're gonna get a black backer and a black loop. This scuba webbing is the stuff. It's awesome. Anyway, green sheath, black micarta, bronze blade. So this, just like that Rambler, that Gen 3 Rambler, black on bronze, black screws. This thing is awesome. I'm in love. I love this color. I would take that combo right. There's the Nitro V. So I would take both of those. This one and that Rambler. Walk away. See you later. I'm out of here. I like them a lot. Gen 3 Walkabout. This, I know I don't have enough Walkabouts because they're one of my most popular for the big knives too. In fact, the First Strike has taken the scene right now, given that PVKG, Scab, outdoor analyst there, Gabe as well. Now with the Gen 3, Gabe's got the first Gen 3 of any knife, and the first Gen 3 First Strike. His was kind of the tester for that as well. But speaking of First Strike, that's what's next up on the list. And this is a favorite of mine. This is one of my favorite knives. One of my favorite and most proud of designs. I don't have enough of these, I know. I'm aware. I'm going to just a second. All right, so I'm going to. I'm supposed to be working. Uh-oh. So I got one more, Stephen, one more to show you, and you're gonna love this next one. All right.
You're gonna get him in trouble.
It's after this one. Just hold on. 80 CRV2, First Strike, wearing red, and this one is hollow ground, the standard hollow grind. And I worked so hard on dialing in a First Strike sheath. I worked so hard on dialing it in to where I didn't have to mess with it, and I finally got it. This is what it looks like. There is no adjustment necessary. There's nothing. It is, I like it. It might be a little tight for a lot of people. See, I have this problem where, look at this. No rattle at all. None. I finally got a little thumb ramp right here, splitting the two. Anyway, this is the First Strike. And this is a Gen 2 80 CRV2 hollow grind. Got one of those. Wish I had 3 of them just to talk about them because I love them. But one of my favorite, another one of my favorite, let's see. If I had to pick like a top 5, this would definitely be in the top 5. For sure, closer to the top of that list. This right here is one of the baddest ass looking knives that I have ever touched, made, and let alone just sitting on the table. It is one of the baddest ass knives. This is a First Strike Generation 3. This is only the second one that exists, Generation 3. The other one belongs to Gabe. This one though, is black Cerakote, and it's got all carbon fiber handles. Oh man, 3K12 from Fat Carbon. This is the epitome of fucking badass. It's so badass. I just, you know what? I want to do bad things, like go paintball a stop sign or something. This is a bad boy knife. This is so cool. It's such a badass looking knife. It might be a bad influence. This First Strike, like Gabe's, has got a high saber flat grind, and it will become a standard because I think this grind suits this knife better than the hollow grind. I just think it looks better. And I opposed that thinking for a long time, but I've come to my senses. I believe that this looks better. Plus, on the plus side, another major bonus, obviously, is that this one is way stronger. So this one balances right inside your, right behind your index finger. For a fighter, it should be slightly handle heavy. I'm never going to be able to find the perfect balance point. No, because now it wants to go forward. Somewhere around in there. That's where it should be. So that way when you choke up on it just slightly, it's very fast. You get a lot of not a lot of handle weight. It's slightly handle heavy, and that's the way a fighter should be. It's slightly handle heavy. Makes the blade fast and nimble. I wonder who that was. Somebody driving by revving it up. This with the black blade and that edge, holy cow. She hot. Hot, hot. One of my favorites from the run. Definitely. And I mean, like, above all the others that I said were my favorites. This right here is like top 3 for me, no doubt. Black card. It's so awesome. Oh, dude, carbon fiber's like bomb-proof. Bomb-proof. I mean, it's way, it's hard to work with. I'll put it that way. Dude, you'd be hard-pressed to wear that handle out. You'd be hard-pressed. You'd be hard-pressed to wear the Micarta out, but that right there, it'd be tough. That's pretty sweet. That's an awesome knife. So, another one of my favorites of the run, another one of my top 3 of the run is coming up. The next knife after this, we've moved on to the next model, and that is the Tribute. The next model is the Tribute. This one is an ADC RV2 black sheath and full flat grind. This one is my tribute to a Keppert knife, Horace Keppert bush knife, woods knife, all things knife. Spear point with a slight, it's 10 inches overall, about 10 1/4. It's got a slight swedge. It's got a pretty decent little swedge, but the swedge didn't come all the way back. It leaves about this much of sharp spine. It makes this is a very makes sense knife. A very makes sense knife. A very, very usable knife. So this knife is the only knife on my lineup. Instead of having the curved radiused face of the handle, this one has 45-degree faces. Now, one of Horace Keppert's thing was to be able to pinch up on the blade and use it for fine detail work, like so. And it's easier, it's more achievable with those angled faces. Pretty cool, huh? It's a little fun fact. That is one of my favorites that I make. When I first made them, I was unsure. But the more I make of them, the more I hold them, I like them a lot, a lot. The spear point is its own thing, for sure. Now, this next tribute is the only other tribute that I've got. This one is one of those top 3. I don't have a tribute yet. This is the one that I would have. In fact, I think I'm going to make myself one. I love it that much. This is a green sheath Gen 3 tribute, first of its kind. This one has got burlap, micarta, the brown burlap on a bronze blade. This is, you know what? Honestly, for me, I would buy this before that first strike, because that first strike is considerably more than this, with that fat carbon. And my, you know, if I were gonna fork out the dollars, I would leave with this one from my table. I like it that much. Seriously, this is one of those top 3 of the runs. Number 1 would be that dagger for sure, but with the brown burlap in that green sheath, something about it just turns me on in all the right ways. And the bronze blade, I love the bronze. I've already got myself one in bronze, that green over bronze. But dude, the Gen 3s are the ticket. They're just the shiz, that's for sure. The black screws inside that dark brown chocolatey oh my god. Okay, this knife really riles me up. I love it so much. I'm gonna have one. I'm gonna make myself one. I don't know when, but I'm gonna make myself one. That was the last pieces of that burlap sheet that I had bought, so I'll have to be looking for that at Blade Show. That one I guarantee does not come home with me from Blade Show.
If it does, it's coming home.
If it comes home from Blade Show, it's mine. It was just meant to be. All right, moving on. Next up, we've got the Hornets. These are awesome. We're about to get into some really crazy cool stuff, guys. Really crazy cool stuff, because all the black Gen 3s that I did, almost all of them are specials. They are Gen 3 specials. Kind of like that first strike. So here's the first Hornet that I've got, 80 CRV2. This is just like the Wasp. In fact, it's the exact same damn knife, but bigger. Let's grab a Wasp right here. Here is the Wasp. Here is the Hornet. See there? Same knife, same swedge, same grind, hollow grind, same exact handle, just scaled up. The biggest difference between these two, aside from their obvious size difference right there, is their thickness. This one is wearing 5/32 stock. This one is wearing 1/8 inch stock. The handle stock on this is 3/16. The handle stock on this one is 1/4 inch. So it's essentially from a compact knife or a subcompact knife up to a medium full-size carry knife. But they are the same, pretty much the same knife, and extremely, extremely popular with me, the Wasp and the Hornet. I make a bunch of them on orders and stuff. I just do. So I've got a blue one of those. The blue has been pretty close to the top of the list for popularity and colors with the Hornets. But a lot of times people order them with fat carbon on them because they're a good option for that. And here I've got one in fat carbon. A radical color too. The only one that I did in Toxic Storm. In fact, I really just did one of each. I tried to spread it out on my fat carbon and stuff, but this one is 5/32 Nitro V. This one is Nitro V. And this one is wearing the fat carbon Toxic Storm. Green and yellow, pretty cool. And it's a lot. A little too much for me, but people love Toxic Storm just because I'm not the biggest fan of it. And I'm a green fan, I just don't like yellow either. So, but I know that people like this stuff, so I made one. I've never done a Toxic Storm Wasp before, or a Hornet. I've done Toxic Storm Wasp. Next Hornet is a Gen 3. Next up is Gen 3 Hornet. Now, this, you guys are going to like this one, because I like this one. I'm not a white or a gray fan. I do like gray. I can't say that I'm not a gray fan. Everything I wear is gray. wearing a gray shirt. I'm not a gray fan. Dumb shit. Anyway, the way that the what's it called? The logo comes out. It almost leaves like a little red ring or a red outline on the. Yeah, see, I like a muted blue purple. I love me a good purple. I love a good purple. I don't carry any, not because I don't feel like it's for me. I just don't have anything purple. But I do love a good purple. It's one of my favorite colors. I always wanted a purple GTO. And plum crazy. This is a Hornet Gen 3. It's black Nitro V. That black Cerakote. And that beautiful edge. This one is wearing Fat Carbon White Storm. So new to me. This and that signature series that I did with the White Storm is the first I've ever used of any of the White Storm. I have used almost all of the Fat Carbons that that they offer. Almost all that they offer. At least I've gone out of my way to try and get newer ones. At least every time that I order Fat Carbon, I'll get something different. This is another newer one. White Storm Fat Carbon. It's got white and gray and black, and it's really awesome, and it looks awesome with the black blade and the gray sheath. So, this is like a Stormtrooper. Dude, this thing's so cool. I love it. I would carry this, no doubt. I love it, love it, love it. So, that is all for the Hornets. That is the Gen 3 Hornet. Now let's go on to the Mustang. That's next. First up, we've got, well, I got price tags on all of these. These are all going to Blade Show though. So they won't be for sale unless you come and see me there. Or unless I just don't sell anything or bring some home. This is a Mustang in 80 CRV2. This one is wearing the burgundy micarta. The missus has one of these. She carries a Mustang from time to time. Hers is a little modified, but it's a Mustang all the same. She's found that she doesn't like the hollow grind as much as she likes her flat grind on her Rambler. She has a burgundy Rambler. Oh yeah, let me see your burgundy tradition.
Oh, my tradition.
The tradition. Adventure.
Oh, the adventure.
Yeah. So here's what I was talking about earlier with that burgundy and bronze. This is the little leather backer colored it a little dingy. I didn't give it enough time to dry, and it soaked some of the oil from the micarta. But again, this is her personal knife. It's not a big deal. In fact, the oil on this can be taken care of. Where's my damn rag? There it is. See, look at there. It's gone. Just like that. It was just a dry spot from it laying on leather, that leather backer that I put on mine. This is the missus, her personal burgundy over bronze. Pretty cool. Anyway, burgundy Mustang with a green sheath. Pretty cool. Almost like a marine colors there. Burgundy and green. Pretty sweet. Got one of those. Here's the number 2 Mustang. This one is in a gray sheath. And it is, have a good one, bud. Have a nice vacation. You can get one of these at Blade Show this coming weekend. So the Mustang and the Hornet and the Falcon, all three have the same handle. So in that sense, they're the same knife. If you were to close your eyes, you wouldn't be able to feel the difference between the three. They've got the same handle. I do make them myself. Every single bit of it. From start to finish. And they are hollow ground. They're all hollow ground. They wear the same stock. In fact, they even got a swedge, but this one's just a clip point. So, it's pretty close. That is pretty sweet. Nebula Fat Carbon, Nitro V, Hollow grind, pretty dang sweet. Somebody put a muzzle on her. She's had one too many.
I'm tired of these people.
Okay. All right. All right. Oh, good to see you splitting slices. Thanks, bud. All right. Here's one that you guys are gonna love. This is an awesome one. And I dropped it on the sheet. She good. Here is a Mustang. Practice, dude. Practice. Practice. You want to know how long I've been doing this? I've been a full-time knife maker since 2010. So, full-time, meaning I don't do any other jobs other than make knives. This is my life. I've put my entire life into this. It's been 15 years that I've been making knives. For a job. Not for a hobby, for a job. I've dedicated everything to this. Practice is all I can say. That's literally all I can tell you, man. I can't download how to feel, what to feel for. I really wish I could, because I could build another one of me real quick. That would be nice, but I can't. And you got to do it. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of blades. This is a Mustang Generation 3 and Nitro V. And this one is wearing something super special. This is the Fat Carbon Snakeskin Copper. Holy shit. This thing is the epitome of badass. This right here, so this paired with that that first strike. Can you imagine doing like a piggyback sheath with this dude? Let's do a piggyback sheath with that first strike. 2 clip points, both black. One is, I mean, this, so the snake skin stuff is essentially like the twill, but it's inlaid, in between, like skipping layers with sheets of copper. And then they have a brass one as well. So they're kind of, they're pretty similar. Pretty dang sweet, right? I think so. I think this knife is, it's right up there with that first strike on ultimate level of badassery. I won't come home with it. I'll just say that. I won't. I don't expect to come home with this knife. I think somebody will like it that much. I like it enough that I would buy it. This is so wicked badass. Nitro V, 5/32 stock, hollow grind, about 20 thousandths behind the edge, 18-ish. What's up, J Rocket? How's it going, bud? So, this is one that I was just showing. One of the Gen 3 Mustangs. This is the Gen 3 Mustang that I'll have on the table at Blade Show. Pretty dang sweet looking blade, isn't it? Alright, moving on. Now we've got the Falcon is next. Let's go. Grab all the, ooh man, we got another good clip point coming up after the Falcon too. The Revelation is coming up. Amaya Parnanas, ¿cómo está? Good to see you. Falcon 80 CRV2. See, I got a base model of everything at least. That's what I wanted. 80 CRV2 belt satin finish. This one's got the black micarta handles. Pretty dang sweet. So the handles on these, like I was saying, it's the same handle as the Mustang, the Hornet, and the Falcon. They're all three the same handle, different blade. They're all three the same stock. So they're cut from the same piece of steel, and they're hollow ground, so they're ground at the same time. And that's what I wanted. I wanted 3 different models that were similar in size. That's just casting a net pretty much, but seeing what works for people, what people want. But anyway, went too far. All right, this one you guys might have seen already. This one's on the website. It's not for sale on the website. I took it down a while back because I wanted to set it back for Blade Show. This one and that Mantis, that blue Mantis I was talking about earlier, this is the number 2 of 2 of the 2 that I was talking about that did not sell out of the that last big specials drop that I did. This one and that Mantis. This one's got that fat carbon 3K twill like that first strike, but this one has got green liners. Pretty dang sweet. What's up, Billy? How's it going? Hey, your knives got sent out today. Your knives are on their way home. Billy just got 2 Adventure Juniors with thickened up handles, so I added a green liner to a gnat and a gnat liner to a green. Got one of each. Posing. Pretty sweet. So that is the special Nitro V Fat Carbon Falcon that I have. That's going to be on the table. Those were popular for a minute, and then they kind of fizzled out. That one's been out for a while, though. All right. I think this one is awesome as well. This is the Generation 3 Fat Carbon Purple Haze and a black blade Falcon Nitro V. This thing is sweet. It's sweet, sweet. See, I love this purple. I would carry this purple. I really would. On my belt so people can see it. I don't care. I like it a lot. I love the Fat Carbon Purple Haze. It's one of my favorites. And this thing is awesome. Wicked slicey. That hollow grind. Again, this one's Nitro V. And that gray goes really good with the purple. Absolutely, man. Got to care about it. Got to put it in so people can see it. I at least hope... hey, you know what? Man? Sometimes I don't trust myself with my own knives because I cut myself all the time. Not intentionally, but, you know, I get a little goofy sometimes and do dumb shit. But anyway, that's the Gen 3 Falcon. Anyway, I was hoping that somebody can at least feel some of the care that I put into it. That's all I hope for. And I appreciate your support, Billy. Billy's a big time supporter of BKC. He usually gets knives 2 at a time. But he likes to work the death out of them too. I know that. Alright. Here is the next one on the table. This one is the Revelation. This is one of my favorite knives of all time, period, end of story. One of my favorite designs, and I think it's one of my better looking ones for sure. It's got a very flowy contoured handle. Not super contoured, but the profile of the handle is a little more contoured than normal. This one, the Revelations are in 5/32 stock. They are full flat ground, and they have a very long sweeping plunge or taper to the plunge line or the cheek. The grind line is all curved. That's a characteristic of the Revelation, and that's a Revelation thing. This is the only knife that I do it with. Sometimes I do it on the Signature series, as some of you might have seen earlier. But the Revelation is one of the most popular knives that I make. In fact, I sent 5 of them out a couple weeks ago. I had 5 of them on order. They really just go through their phases of popularity. But again, YouTubers like PPKG really helped me with that. He's got a red one and he likes it a lot. He carries it a lot. And you know, he's got a bunch of subscribers too, so it really helps to spread the word. That is the Revelation. An 80 CRV2 blue micarta with a gray sheath. That one will be on the table. All right, and then we've got, all right, this one's really cool. Revelation Nitro V with the Fat Carbon Uni Copper. This is the same kind of Uni Copper that is on the dagger Revolution. I did think about that Revolution. Maybe a giant Revelation. This is Nitro V. See, it's got that nice big old sweeping plunge on there. And this guy is hot. This is a nice knife. A giant Revelation. Call it the Revolution. That would be cool. Machete Revelation. That would be cool. This is an awesome blade. Nitro V. That one's got a black sheath. I'll go to the black handle. And I've got one more Revelation. Probably one of the coolest knives here. Now, I'm a purple fan. I'm a big time Nat fan. And obviously a green fan. Like all my tools in the shop. If you guys watch my normal weekly lives, then you know everything in my knife shop is green. But so I'm not a red fan. I'm not a red fan at all. I don't have anything red. I will be wearing a red shirt at Blade Show on Saturday. As it's kind of an inside joke, but if you know, you know. And I wore a red shirt. Sometimes I'll wear red. It's not bad looking on me, but you know, I don't carry anything red. I don't like. I will never choose red over green or blue or purple or anything like that, you know. But this thing turned me around. I would carry this knife. This is the Lava Flow from Fat Carbon on a Nitro V Generation 3 all black Revelation. Black screws. And that black on red, this thing, you know what? It's just wicked. This thing is wicked, 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 wicked. I love it. Yep, I'm not a fan of red either, but this is just, I would carry this. I really would. This would turn me around on red. It's got to be nice. It's got to be really, really, really nice. And that's it right there for me. That would be the only red on this table that I would carry. Definitely not the Mars Valley. Although it's extremely popular. The, yes, dude, Kawasaki Green. Oh my God. We're best friends now. I've broken all kinds of bones on Kawasaki's, man. That's not a joke. I wish it was. I love my Kawasaki's. You only knew. Okay, here we go with Adventure Juniors. All right, so I've got that one Adventure Junior that I was showing you right at the beginning. This one right here, I'm donating to Matt Gillenwater with Georgia Bushcraft, and they're going to be giving it away sometime this year. I'm going to be donating this one. This is an 80 CRV2 Adventure Junior with black handles. It's a base model knife. And nothing wrong with it at all. It's going to be a great knife. Somebody's going to be super happy to get this one in a giveaway. That's for sure. I'm going to be doing a giveaway of my own. I think I'm just going to do my normal 4th of July giveaway and just make it bigger since I didn't do one earlier this year. I think I'm going to give away 3 knives. But we'll get there. Anyway, this is what I'm going to have on the table. This is the Denim Blue 80 CRV2 Adventure Junior. Now, Junior, as in this is full-size Adventure, and this is the Junior. The Rambler is, it's a good bit different or bigger than the Adventure Junior. Now, the stock is the same. It's got the same stock, but like I was saying earlier, the Rambler has got, instead of the thinner handles, it's got the thicker handles to give you a lot more control. But that's what it looks like. You can see the blades are very, very close in size and even, you know, shape. However, this one's going to have a lot more of a slicey bite to it because it's got a full flat, which means it's got a longer, thinner taper. And I usually make them a good bit thinner behind the edge than the Rambler, too. Now, edge thickness has... my edge thickness has a lot to do with how much leverage you might be able to put elsewhere on the knife to break said edge. So if it's got a super thick handle and a whole bunch of beefy spine, then I don't really want a super thin edge. I want a little bit beefier of an edge to match the rest of the knife. There I'm not adding extra stress in points where extra stress does not need to be. Per se, it's kind of spread out through the entire knife. Now, the Adventure Junior is a daintier knife. It's got the Wasp stock Wasp Mosquito, that same thickness and stock of the handle. So you're not going to be able to put as much hell into this knife as you would, say, the Rambler, just for sake of you not being able to hold as much of it. So they're pretty close. But again, the geometry on both of them are far different from each other, for sure. I mean, they're both flat grind. This one's a full flat, and it's got virtually no spine at all. But I do leave some cheek. I do sell on my website all the time. In fact, I usually have drops every other week, religiously. And I had to lay off and take some weeks off to do all these knives that I'm showing now for Blade Show. Normally, I would be dropping these knives on the website, and I would do runs. I'll usually do runs of like 6 Adventure Juniors, and then I'll do some other things. I like to do drops of about 12 to 20-ish knives, somewhere in there, every other week. Hell, as much as I can. The Adventure Junior is absolutely a hell of an EDC knife. William Hobbs there, he just, like I said earlier, he's got 2 of these in the mail as of today. They just went to the post office today. And he wanted Adventure Juniors, but with the Rambler kind of thickness to the handle, you know what I'm saying? I can only presume that he likes a little bit more beef in the handle, a little bit more to hold on to. So do I, which is why I like the 3/16 Adventure, you know, like that. I believe Billy there has also got one of the first Adventures in 5/32 as well. Yeah, they're great knives. They're really, really, really great knives, and they are wicked slicey, that's for sure. Being 1/8 inch with a full flat grind and a wide blade, they're very, very, very slicey. So that is the first Adventure Junior. The next Adventure Junior that I actually have 2 fat carbon specials for the Adventure Junior. I just ended up with an extra. So at the end of the last week, when I was trying to get out of the shop, I was finishing up some other orders. I had somebody order a knife, and then they canceled on me like a day later or something. But I had already gotten the blade through heat treat. Is what it is. But I ended up just finishing it with fat carbon. This is not it. It's the next one. But this one is an Adventure Junior Nitro V wearing the Forest Eye fat carbon. This is the OD green. It's all OD green and black. There's no other color. You know, with fat carbon, they usually put 2 colors at least in their stuff. This one is just OD green. It's the Forest Eye fat carbon. It's a very, very, very nice looking. It matches the sheath. This is a killer looking knife. Nice. It is very muted. It's very muted. But like looking at it in person, it's full of color. It's got so much color. It's just not. It's not. I mean, like you can see there how green it is compared to the sheath. It matches the sheath really well, but it looks black. It's dark. It's very, very muted, like you said. No, it's just shiny. I'm getting like a glare to it. Pretty good looking stuff. That's gonna be awesome. So with that one, Adventure Junior Nitro V with the Forest Eye fat carbon. Here is the other one. That was a last minute addition. This is an Adventure Junior with a gray sheath, and this one has the fat carbon dark matter orange. This is a Nitro V Adventure Junior Nitro V. Super, super slicey blade. And this one's got that dark matter orange. Now, I thought this stuff looked like this. So the dark matter orange was the first piece of fat carbon. Not this piece, but the dark matter orange was the first piece of fat carbon that I ever got from fat carbon. and I couldn't decide what to get. I was just like, when I first heard about them and started going through their website, I was like, kid in a candy store. I thought this stuff looked like a crusted over lava. Steven, you know what I'm talking about. He lived down there in Hawaii, and there ain't nothing but lava down there. So on whatever island you're on down there, brother, I know you know what crusted over lava looks like, and this is what it looks like to me. In fact, I took a picture and brought it up on the website, or brought it up on my phone, and then went on like Google and found a picture of crusted over lava, and that's, I mean, like with the hot glowy lava on like cracking through a crust. Yeah, you know shit. You know what I'm talking about. Making myself out like a dumbass here. All right, that's the other Adventure Junior special that I have. As far as like extras, the Adventure Junior, the Tradition Junior, and the Adventure are the only ones that I have extras of. Wrong one. How did I get that? I already showed that one. That was the ADCRB2 one. This is the one that I was trying to show. A leaf blade shape. I have not. I have not. Well, then it would be kind of like in the range of like a Lishan Little Canuck. That would be cool. Adventure Junior with a leaf blade, like a spear point leaf, wide, like a real wide blade. That'd be cool. So, this is an Adventure Junior Generation 3. This one's wearing a flat dark earth sheath. This one has got more of that Grip Tech green, and on top of that bronze blade, it is hot, hot, hot. I love it. And I like how the black screws look inside of the Grip Tech. It's pretty dang sweet. This is a really sweet looking blade. And again, that Grip Tech is, it's not explainable. I can't explain what it feels like. I just can't explain what it feels like. But it's definitely the grippiest stuff that I have. The thing about the Grip Tech is it's grippery when wet. That he has some stickers that say grippery when wet. It's like a little hazard triangle with somebody slipping and falling. But the wetter you get this stuff, the more tacky it gets. The rubber gets sticky. So like hand sweat or anything like that is going to make it even stickier in the hand. And it's already really grippy with all that exposed bits of rubber. I like it quite a lot, although it is a pain in the neck to work with. But this is the Adventure Junior Nitro V Generation 3. That's what I got. It's going on the table. It'll be there. All right, that's all for the Adventure Juniors. Let's move on to the Tradition Juniors. Now, out of any model on the table, aside from the Eagles and the Hawks, which I just did a run of, some of you guys know that. Now, they're still up on the website in the store, actually. But out of any knife on the table, I have more of the Tradition Juniors. I have 5 of them. I have more of these than any other one on the table, aside from the Hawks and Eagles. And that is because this is the most popular knife as of late. Since I came out with this, so I went to Blade Show with the very first one of these a year ago. I went to Blade Show, and I'll show it because it's right here. If I can find it without taking a year to grab it, maybe not. Maybe I won't get so fortunate. Maybe it says you're an idiot.
Where are you trying to go?
I was trying to find my. There it is. I found it. I went to Blade Show last year with this knife. This is my Tradition Junior, and it is in Nitro V, wearing fat carbon jungle wear. See, I love that green. It's got copper pins, copper Corby screws, but this one has a green. It's got ghost liners on it. They're the same kind of green, almost. There's only one more of this exact knife. I remade it one time for a very close friend, and he calls it money. He was calling this knife money for a long time, and then he's like, all right, I want a money. So I made him a money, and it's the same knife. I mean, it's the exact same knife, except his is a Gen 2. This is a Gen 1. See, it's got the old logo. So, nope, I am the maker, designer. I am the alpha and omega of a very good knife company. And I owe it all to everyone that supports me and God. So, this right here, this, dude, you are so right. This is a field dressing dream. This knife right here is absolutely the Skin and Wizard Deluxe. So, this combination, this and a full-size tradition, you could process any game animal on planet Earth. Really, you could. It might take you a while, but you could. This is a great knife, a great inside the pocket knife. And ever since I took this knife to Blade Show and showed it off, this was the first one. It was still kind of a concept at this point. I believe it, dude. I believe it. I believe you could do it. This and the full size, hell, you know. I wouldn't want to do an elephant with it, all right? Let's say North America. Shit fire. All right. Let's do... shit fire. I got distracted. Since I carried this knife and made the first run of them, these took over popularity. Over the Adventure Junior, over the Adventure, over the Wasp, over everything else that I make. The Tradition Junior very, very, very quickly became the most popular knife that I make. In fact, it is still the most popular knife I make because almost 95% of the time when my order board is full, there is at minimum one Tradition Junior on the board, if not 2 or 3. Always. They are the most requested. I make more of them. They sell fastest. These are the fastest selling knife that I make. Every time I do a drop of them, they last about 5 minutes. It doesn't matter if I do 20 of them or 2 of them. They're gone. They're the first one's gone. If I drop them with anything else, they're the first one's gone. I usually sell them in drops online on my website, verygoodknifecode.com. These are all for Blade Show, though. So, if I come home with any, then I'll be doing a drop. I am hoping that I don't come home with any. If I do, that's okay. It's not a big deal. I'll have a hell of a drop, and I have a lot of people waiting on a drop anyway. It's not a big deal. But I hope that I come home empty-handed because that would just be great. Here is the next Adventure or Tradition Junior that I have sitting on the table this weekend at Blade Show. Now this one and this one right here, this one is special. It's 80 CRV2, but it's got some oil and some fuzzies. These are 1/8 inch stock hollow ground, and they are very thin at the edge, or about 12 to 15 thousandths behind the edge. That's where I like them to be. This one is an 80 CRV2, and it is special because it is wearing a set of the vintage linen micarta. This is really good looking stuff, and it's getting more rare, of course, the farther we go into time. But this is a vintage linen micarta. Pretty sweet looking stuff. Yes, I do. She's coming with me. They're just the knife. They are the knife. When I put that green one in my pocket, and I carried it every day until it got cold, and then so I was wearing it in these shorts right here, and I have an ulti clip on it. This thing, you see, I've worn off all the coating on most of the stuff there. Just shoot me an email, Amma. If you just shoot me an email, verygoodknifeco@gmail.com. Like if you go on the website and you see, like if you go to all models page or the specials page. Now I won't recreate the signature series. Those are all 1 of 1, and they all say 1 of 1 on them. But anyway, Anything else on the website that you see that you can't live without, if you shoot me an email and say, hey, I want this one, then I'll make you one. No worries. On normal conditions, I'll have it out in no more than 2 weeks. I like to have them done. Hell, if I can, then I'll get them done in a couple days. Like if I've got everything on hand and everything's going good, then I will throw them in. It all just depends on when you catch me too. Like Billy, he caught me like Friday, and I had a heat treat going, and I had space for about 3 other blades, and he wanted 2, so I threw 2 in real quick. And you know, once they're through heat treat, it's just a matter of finishing them. I was finished with everything else, and so Monday I spent just cleaning the shop and finishing Billy's knives. So this right here, when I carry this in my pocket, these shorts, these are Dickies shorts, and they have a vertical slot pocket, not like a horizontal slot where you stick your hand down in. This one see that right there? Well, with this ulti-clip, I like to clip it in right at the base of the pocket, and then I rock it forward and clip it. Now, you can't see the knife at all. You can see my ulti-clip, but if I bring my knife out just a little like this, you can see it, but it tucks behind the pocket. And I found out that I like that more than anything. It's extremely accessible. Like when I want to resheath, the sheath is hidden, so instead of trying to find the sheath, I just pull the sheath, I just kind of turn it sideways like this a little, and then it gives me a clear path to put the knife in. What's up, Gabe? Good to see you, brother. Gabe right here is just in time because I am getting to the end of my lineup, and next up after this, after we finish all the Tradition Juniors, we'll be talking about a design of Gabe's, and then another design of Gabe's, and then another design of Gabe's. So that'll be cool. Gabe came in just in time. But anyway, I kind of quit wearing it because when it got cold, I was wearing pants, not shorts, and my pants all have damn horizontal cut pockets, and the knife handle sticks out, and you know what? I just got frustrated with it, and I quit wearing it. Another thing was this right here, concealing the knife entirely keeps dust from getting down in the sheath, and it being in my other pocket where the pocket was just barely covering this, it was starting to get dusty, and I would pull it out, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. So I just put the knife away, and it's still pretty much a new knife. It's been carried. It's been carried a lot. It's been in and out of the sheath a lot. In fact, I've sat here and fidgeted with it in my pocket, doing this number, to the point where the sheath is almost got, well, hell, I can't even make it rattle. Hear it? A little bit of rattle. So I carried it a good bit, but in general, or in truth, it's a new knife. So it's short season again, and I'm going to be wearing it, and I'm going to be wearing it in my pocket at Blade Show. So speaking of the very next knife, I've been doing shows for quite a while. I haven't done a show in quite a while. In fact, when we first started making knives back in 2009, 2010, we started out doing gun shows. I had done some gun shows earlier as a kid because my dad was into case knives, and we started selling those off before we started making knives. Then when we started making knives, we started doing gun shows like crazy. After gun shows, we kind of evolved into doing a lot bigger, more fancy juried type shows where you have to be, juried in, meaning they kind of skim through, and you got to be good to get into these kind of shows. At least have something unique. Art shows is what we were doing, and I've done enough really good shows to know that there's always somebody that comes along and wants to know what the maker's carrying. What do you carry? What's in your pocket? And you know what? When we would pull out our own knife, a lot of times they would want to buy it, or would buy it right out of your pocket, or right off of your neck, or right off of your hip. That's mine. I want the maker's carry. So I knew somebody was going to say that about this knife, so I made one. I did not make it exactly like mine. This one's got a green sheath, and this one's got the jungle wear. Yeah, that's it, dude. Shirt off your back. They want the shirt off your back. This is a jungle wear fat carbon with the copper screws, just like mine. This one does not have the green liners that you really can't see or tell that they're even there. See how much darker this is because it's been carried and a lot of hand oils. But same knife. It's just a copy, a newer version. This is a generation 2 because it's got the laser engraving. But I honestly didn't even plan on setting this one out on the table. I might just hang on to it for that occasion when somebody says, what are you carrying? I want that one. And I've got one for you. You can have this one. You cannot have mine. Because I don't like to sell my used knives. Once I age them to a certain point, I get attached to them and I want to put them away. Whether they're still full of life or not, I don't care. I spent, you know, when I everyday carry a knife, it means every day for me. Not 5 days out of the week and then I'll carry something else on Sunday. When I carry a knife, I carry a knife, only one, every day until I feel satisfied with how long I've carried it. This is the knife that I have been carrying every single... In fact, I'm missing it because I've gotten used to this knife. I made this knife and this knife and this one all at the same time to take the blade show last year. I ended up carrying this one on my hip and I showed this one off more than any other knife. This is a Revelation. See, there's that green again, that Kawasaki green that I'm into, man. I love it. But this is the snakeskin gold. This is a bronze. It's not gold. It's like a brass. It's definitely not gold because it would be about 15 times more expensive than it is. But snakeskin gold on a Nitro V Revelation. It's a Gen 1 Revelation with green liners. Pretty sweet. That's my personal, and it just hasn't been used much for other than steaks every now and then. You can see it definitely hasn't been carried a whole lot. But it did get carried enough to kind of wear it in looking. Give it a worn in look. But this is carried every day. And I mean every damn day. It has only been taken off of my belt to go to another pair of pants. This is what they look like. Now, this is a special option. And I did start doing these more. And here, I'll just show you my, I'll show you my newest one, what it looks like. After a week, it starts to take that form where it's going to start to carry my belt. And it'll eventually push up and stretch out. This thing will get floppier, a little more floppy. And I don't mind them hanging out. But the thing about the leather is it never breaks. It never bends. It never gets hung up on anything. And it just... It's just, this is the way I like to carry. I've been carrying knives like this for over 10 years. I started making this loop. I'm not going to say that it was my doing per se. At the time that I made that first one, which is about 2016. 2016 is when I made my first saddle loop. I had seen things similar, but not quite exactly like... Yes, thank you. Get the fuck out of here. Bad enough that I was born during Pride Month. My goodness. That deserved a taste. My goodness. Back to the Tradition Juniors that we got hung up on. That is the vintage linen. I'm going to have that one on the table. And we're going to have that green one, of course, the maker's model. This is the most popular fat carbon variant. This is the most popular configuration of a special of any of my knives that I've had. This is the Tradition Junior in Mars Valley fat carbon. This knife has sold several times, and I mean a good bit. I made one for one person, and then Javon over at Javon's Knife Flicks. Shout out to Javon. Sometimes he pops in and watches. Sometimes he also has a live stream on Tuesday night as well, I believe. Hell, he goes live all the time. But Javon showed one of these on his channel, and then I sold even more of them. I made one for a fella named Lee Wolf. Lee Wolf has got some of my knives. He's a great supporter. Lee, if you're in here, welcome in, bud. I'm happy to have you. Hope you're doing all right. So this is one of the most, if not the most popular fat carbon configuration. It is the Mars Valley on a Nitro V Tradition Junior. Absolutely top tier carry knife, pocket knife, pocket fixed blade. Now I put a strap on these. They all come with a strap. I'm not in the business of making belt attachments, although I will be eventually in the business with doing more of those saddle loops. Hell, the whole thing that I was supposed to show you, I didn't even show you. So the reason why I didn't do more of them is because I was hand stitching them, and I actually just decided to switch over to the copper Brad and Burr rivets, and these are, hell, they're twice as strong as, well, they're just as strong as a good hand stitch. I've got a very extremely extensive background in leather work. In fact,
Where's your walkabout?
it's in this box somewhere, I think. I don't know. I've got some other stuff in this box as well. I've got a whole big time background in doing leather work with the last with my last gig at Two Jakes. We had a full leather shop with, I mean, a full setup, and I did a whole bunch of it. I had a bunch of practice because all we ever did was leather sheets, and I wanted to do Kydex. I hate Kydex belt loops, and that's where I hate leather sheets for knives. I can't stand them. I just don't. I'm not. You know, certain knives, it's warranted. I get it, but for the most part, everyday carry, I absolutely just fucking despise leather. I can't stand carrying it. However, I love the flexibility of leather. It never seems to get hung up on anything. It never bothers me. It looks really good too, of course, but it doesn't hold the knife. I've got a knife down there in somewhere, my old original Tradition that I carried for about 1.5 years every day. It's whooped. Big time wore out. In fact, it was sharpened so much that I shortened it way up. But anyhow, it had a leather sheath, and that was the last leather sheath that I carried before I came up with this. And again, I'm not gonna say it was my thing, because there's a lot of people doing them now. About 12 years ago, there wasn't a lot of people doing. Look at this. I got me a. Oh, my woman's in there digging for knives for me. I brought the box, my knife box, my big old knife tote in here just because. This is that Tradition that I was talking about. This is the original Tradition from Bloodline. My last brand was Bloodline. That was my last venture. Well, I pretty much rebranded Bloodline into Very Good is what it is now. I'm not going to go into why it was called Bloodline, because it's just a lot more extensive than I want to get into now. It's not like some scary kind of thing. In fact, it has things to do with bloodlines of dogs. But anyway, this is one of my sheaths, and this knife was carried constantly, and it was carried so much it was loved. You know, you're right, Stephen. It was loved. It was a loved knife. The only other job that I held down during knife making was the time that I had a friend who was trying to start up a business, a tree service. Now, before I got into knife making, as a kid, as a 16-year-old, I had a job doing a tree service for a short while with McAllister's Tree Service here and here locally. Wasn't for me. In fact, I saw somebody just about get killed, and I was like, nope, I'm fucking done with this shit. I swore I'd never do it again. And my buddy, who was into tree service, he was starting his own thing, and I decided to help him with his tree service because I was a good groundsman already, and I had a little climbing experience, and you know, this knife made it through about 8 months of tree service, and it was used every day. It never left my belt, and that's the way I do knives. I will carry the same knife every day for a year at least, and you know, if I don't like it, I'll know right off the bat. But yes sir, dude, we're gonna move on to that here in just a second. I keep getting sidetracked, and I only got one more Tradition Junior to show, so I will we'll get on to it in just a second. But anyway, I made this knife. This knife is a year and like 2 or 3 days old. I made it just before Blade Show last year. It's a Nitro V Adventure 3/16 stock with that same dark. Now here's something interesting. This is the same micarta, exact same from the same sheet. Instead, this is my regular finish, 400 grit finish, or a you know, like a belt satin clean finish. This is a blast finish, and you can see the difference in color right off the bat. But this one obviously has been worn in. Now, the missus brought me something else as well, talking about that leather work. Here is my Walkabout on a dangler. This is all my own work, but this is a Walkabout with a double strap, so it can be carried scout. This one has got a stud for my lanyard. That way it just guarantees that my knife never goes anywhere that I don't want it to go. This sheath was not made for this knife. However, there's been 4 different knives in this sheath. Every time I make a better version of this similar knife, I put it in that sheath. This is my personal Walkabout, and it's got that same green micarta. I love this knife with all my heart, and I have absolutely beat it like I hate it, but that is just me loving on them. This one's been bent massively in between a tree, like splitting, like doing batoning. I've batoned literal about a cord of wood with this. I love it. ADCR V2 is a great knife, but here's that leather work that I was talking about, having some background in. This is not super extensive, but I mean, it's pretty neat sheath. I hope one day to be able to get back to this. Here is something definitely a lot more extensive in the form of leather. This is an inlay, snakeskin inlay. I did that as well on a custom knife. This is a really nice sheath. This is the kind of stuff that I was doing. But anyway, fully custom. This is my own Damascus that I made. Choyo cactus inlaid with some turquoise that I made. Walrus cheekbone and woolly mammoth tooth. That is a look into past knife making endeavors. Anyway, moving on. I got one more Tradition Junior to show, and that is the last of the main models, and then we'll get into the other models that I do, which are collaboration models with people like Gabe. This is the last Tradition Junior that I have. It's a black sheath, Generation 3, wearing the Viridian Grip Tech. This thing is ultra grippy, and it is super cool looking. Bronze blade Nitro V. Pretty dang sweet. It is not, oh yeah, that last one was an expensive knife for sure. Way more than anything that I've got sitting on this table, in fact. It's worth about all those signature series, actually. But anyway, this is the Tradition Junior Blue Viridian Grip Tech. It doesn't say Viridian Blue. I just keep calling it Viridian Blue, but it's just Viridian Grip Tech on a bronze blade. Pretty sweet. That'll be on the table. That is that is all for the Tradition Juniors. All right, moving on to Gabe's blades. So, a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, Gabriel at Last Huntsman Outdoors hit me up with wanting to send me his prototype knife, the Huntsman. And so I made him one. Here, Gabe, check this out. This is a green sheath Huntsman. I know you'd like that. Gabe's a green fan like us. And this is the Huntsman. This is a Generation 2 Huntsman, actually, and it's the only one of its kind, because the last Huntsman I did were all Gen 1. These are absolutely stupendously, ridiculously awesome blades. They're so cool. And then we just did one recently that we almost felt like blew it out of the water just because of how awesome it is. But they're just so awesome. They're just so awesome. And you know what? If I do another one of these, you know what I want to do is what Reese sent us, Gabe? Remember that picture that Reese sent us with that clip? I want to just make the same knife, and then I'm just going to clip it and just do a clip point. I want one with a clip point. If this one doesn't sell at Blade Show, which I think it might, I'm going to come home and clip it and keep it. Because I like the gnat on the green sheath. Isn't that badass? So I made a run of these, like a run of 20 or 22 or something like that back in October of last year. And they went pretty quick. They were pretty awesome. The Outlaw Bowie. Damn, dude, that's awesome. Alright. Then, after the Huntsman, we did the Hawk. This is another Gabe design. Now we took pretty much the Adventure handle, but thickened it up. The Adventure's narrower in here behind the choil than the Hawk is. However, this one is 5/32. The Adventure is 3/16. Now my new Adventure is 5/32. Because I'm gonna see. I want to know what it's all about at that thickness. Gabe just got an Adventure in 5/32, and you know what? I like it, man. I do. I'm not gonna say that I like it better than a 3/16, because dude, I've been carrying that 3/16 for so long. Not just this one, but all the ones before it, the Adventures before. But anyway, the Hawk is 5/32, and that's what, you know, kind of led us to just going ahead and putting that 5/32 on the Adventure too, because you know, they're not a lot different. The grind is the same. It's that full flat grind, and it's kind of like an Adventure turned backwards there, right? It's pretty sweet. This is an EDC Sax blade, and you know what? It's extremely functional. It's very functional. And it also doubles in the self-defense range as well. Better than the Adventure, for sure, on the self-defense part, because this one's definitely thinner at the tip and a little bit more, you know, the angle of that tip, like your tip would be back here on the Adventure. It just bites really stupid hard. It bites really deep. It's very slicey, and it's super tough. Yep, it is super tough. That 5/32 stock is no damn slouch. It's super thick for sure. The 3/16 is just ridiculous, I know. But I like the 3/16 too. But that is the Hawk. This one is in green micarta ADCR V2. This is the only ADCR V2 one that I have. And this one is wearing that flat dark earth sheath. Pretty sweet. Pretty dang sweet. And then I've got some more Hawks that I had from the drop. I think I've got 4 of those left. There is the, let's see. I've got one more Blood Hawk left. Nitro V. These are a Nitro V. Super sweet blades. It's just the same as the others, just a Nitro V. It's a base model with the micarta. And you know what? I screwed up and I should have done a fat carbon Hawk. I just didn't think about it at the time, because when I was doing the Gen 3 stuff, it was in the same run as the Gen 3s, all the blacks, and I was laying out material, and for some reason I don't know, I just skipped over the fat carbon for it, because I was cutting out micarta, and I was originally like swapping them around. I was like, man, I got too much of this color, or too little. Hell, I don't have any blues or any burgundies or whatever. This is the burgundy, the purple Hawk in Nitro V. I've got 3 of those. I've got 3 of these and 1 more red of the Nitro V. And then I do have 1 more Nitro V, and it's a Gen 3. Where'd that box? There it is. I've got a Gen 3 Hawk here. I'll show you in a second. Put all these back. Here's the Gen 3 Hawk. This one I should have, once I got finished, I was like, damn it, I should have done that one in fat carbon like I did all the other ones. I did do one other of the black in Gen 3 with micarta. But this right here, the Burgundy Hawk is insane, isn't it? I think that's one of the better colors for it, for sure. But this is the black Generation 3 Nitro V Hawk. Wearing blue micarta. The blue was the most popular color of the Hawk both times that we did a drop. We did 2 drops of the Hawks. And the first time I did like a drop of 40, and I sat on some for a while. They did end up all selling. This time I think I only did 12, and all the blue ones were gone so fast that people were mad that they didn't get a blue one. So I didn't. I did more blue, and then again they were the first ones to sell, so I just did blue for that Gen 3. Because it's like the same handle as the Adventure. I guess the blue just fits this handle. Because, like I was saying earlier, blue is the most popular color by far with the Adventures. I mean, by far. Everybody loves the blue on that style of handle. So, I won't argue. It's pretty sweet. Alright, so, speaking of the Hawk, let's look at the last one of Gabe's designs. I just did a drop with these. And I've got, I think I've got 7 or 8 of these left. 7 or 8, I can't remember. Anyway, this is the bigger version of the Hawk, the Eagle. And we kind of talked about this loosely when, the first review I think that Gabe did with one of my knives was the Falcon, and his brother Kenny got the Falcon, and they did a review on it, and then we were talking in the comment section about a wider blade, the Hawk, that ended up coming into fruition. And the Eagle as well, because, Falcon, Hawk, Eagle. We went from small to big there. And what's up, John? How's it going? I owe John a lot of thanks. And, John, I'm going to send you a knife here real soon. A real good one. Keep an eye out, bud. So, this is the Eagle. And, you know what? At first, I don't know that I wasn't as crazy about it as I am now. Where did that Eagle go? Where'd my Eagle go?
Did you put it in there? Your walkabout wasn't in there.
I put it in there.
You sure?
I'm positive.
Well, let me go check.
Okay. Look at my backpack, maybe. Alright. Anyway, I made myself an Eagle. I love it. This thing is a monster in the woods. It's an absolute monster. She gonna come right back, dude. Chill out. Spoiled little baby brat. He's a titty baby. I picked this little cat up out of the road a couple years ago, and he was about the size of this handle. Same color. Little orange kitty. It's got to be in the box then. Anyway, the first 3 Hawks, 2 of them went to Gabe, or the Eagle. First 3 Eagles, Gabe got 2 of them, and then I got the third one, the green one, and I just used it to test, and I cut and cut and cut and cut and cut and cut and cut with it. In fact, I cut so much with it, and I got so aggressive and rough with it that I had to redo the edge because I hit rocks with it, like cutting into roots and stuff into the ground, trying to cut up trees. This thing, holy shit. It's better than the Huntsman, like in terms of weight displacement. Given that the edge on the Huntsman starts somewhere back here, the edge is farther forward. In fact, the edge is farther forward than the guard. And I wanted it that way. I can't finish the guard on the big wheel because the blade the edge will hit the guard. So I have to finish the guard perpendicular to the grinding belt because the edge sticks out farther than the guard. And we wanted that edge forward. It just, you know what? This thing really drives super deep. It really drives deep. It's a great clearing knife. You know what I liked about it is like when I couldn't reach stuff with the Huntsman, there's my personal one. We'll talk about that one then. So I've got some gnat eagles, and all the blood eagles are gone. The red ones are gone, and then I've got one blue one and a couple of green ones left. Here's the green one, but this one is mine. You can see that this one is absolutely been used. It's even got a little bit of rust going on up there because you know what? I just don't take care of mine all that great. And again, it's that same mentality of I can just take it to the shop and hit it on the Scotch-Brite and make it brand new in about 13 whole seconds. You know, my blade maintenance routine is a little lazy, to say the least. So, but this is what the eagle looks like after you beat the shit out of it for a while. And I mean, beat the shit out of it. It's been re-edged and it's still super sharp. It's just gotten a little dirty again. I took it out, got it dirty again. Outdoor Analyst has one, and Gabe's got a couple of them as well. And they made their way around on YouTube. I know that they're not the most popular looking. It's kind of niche. And if you like it, you like it. It's a sax. It's definitely not like a traditional sax. It's not a traditional sax. Patina or die. That's right, dude. I want my that's just like my Walkabout here. You know, I want them teenered up. They gotta be patinaed up. See, that thing's been whooped a lot. This has just been better taken care of than the eagle. My eagle just got abused. That's all, and I didn't take care of it at all. I kind of cleaned it and very lightly wiped it with oil, an oily rag that had previously had oil on it. No fresh oil, but hence a little bit of rust up top. It's ADCR-V2. It's a good old crusty ADCR-V2, and you just can't beat it. In my opinion, for this size of knife, I think is the best steel that exists. But anyway, this you know what I liked about this one? What I was saying earlier is like the curvature of the Huntsman. When you want to reach for things, you don't get that much of the tip on the Huntsman because you have to kind of like change your angle in order to get the same kind of power. This one, it's straight. It's close to straight. You can see it's not super straight. It's got some curvature to it, but it's very straight in terms of where the edge is. It's all on the same plane here. So if you're reaching for something and trying to cut, this thing will chop all the way out to the very tip with the same power that it's getting closer back to here. It's amazing. It really is. I actually went and bought a whole bunch of supplies to do like a real technical cutting course for this, like the Blade Sports thing that they do at Blade Show. Not that I've ever been that crazy into that, competition choppers, but I just wanted to see what it would do, because this thing is a freaking monster. I mean, it really is. When I started using it, like I was reaching up trying to clear limbs out off of trails, you know, for dirt bike trails, and holy shit, cats are going crazy in there.
Right.
Yeah, they're like climbing up the walls. That's hilarious. That was very distracting. But yeah, dude, Gen 3 Eagle is not far away for sure. I want to see a Gen 3 Eagle myself because I'm into this blade. What's the reason for not making a Nitro V Eagle? It's a fucking pain in the ass, that's why. These things are huge and they're a lot to grind. All the grinding on, well, not all of it, but the majority of the grinding on these happens before heat treat. I always grind my ADCR-V2 before heat treat. I like differential heat treating. I think it gives me a better hardness at the edge and a little bit less hardness on the spine where I don't want it. I'm able to you know what, I've done so many thousands of knives like that. I've got the process dialed in, my differential heat treating. My ADCR-V2 is on point to me and to others, but you know, I'm just trying to live up to my own standards on what it should be, you know. But Nitro V has to be ground after heat treat, and this would be like 360 grit or 336 grit belts just to get close. and then it would be just a whole lot of work to get it just right. Patina Turner, what's up, buddy? Check that Tina out. She's looking good, huh? So, that's the number one reason why I have not made anything this size in Nitro V, because I just don't want to, honestly. I have had someone want me to make a Nitro V Huntsman, and they said they were willing to pay. In fact, their message was, I want a Nitro V Huntsman special. So they wanted something like really special, and he said in there he said willing to pay to play, because he knows that I don't really want to do it, and if I'm gonna have to do it, I'm gonna charge you, and they're already like $450. So because this is a lot of steel, man, this is a whole bunch of grinding. It takes up a whole bunch of time. I can make 3 or 4 adventures in the time that it takes to make me one of these. It's just, you know, it's pretty bad that I have to keep removing this piece of shit somehow. I keep removing him. And anyway, I can make 3 of these to 1 of these, and that is why that they are the price that they are. Not to mention the size and the amount of steel that they take, the size and the amount of kydex that they take. I mean, this is an entire, it's a 12-inch by 8-inch piece of kydex. That's 2.5 adventure sheaths. So, you know, and then like a giant piece of micarta to cover both sides. So, you know, I wish I could make them cheaper, and I just can't. I wish I could make them less expensive. I can't yet. Anyway, my hope and plan is to get... yeah, dude, the belts are just stupid. With ADCR V2, you know what? I even with, and again, like I grind all of these ADCR V2, I rough grind them, and then I will smooth them out before heat treat. And then after heat treat, I'll go back down a grit to get the edge thickness closer to where I want, and then step them up from there all the way to the 400 grit that this one is finished to. But... for the most part, like I can get 3 or 4 of these out of 136 grit belt. ADCR V2, that's a non-heat treated blade, so softened steel. It would take at least 1 belt per side if this was a hardened Nitro V blade just to get it close. I guarantee it would take at least 1 belt per side, and those belts are $12 a piece. So at minimum $10.50. I'm not interested in a whole lot of that, because then the price is going to go up so much that I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to be able to make it competitive or worthwhile or really even like to the point where people will want to buy them or spend the money on them, because it's a high saber flat grind. It's a flat grind. It's similar to those. Yeah, it does get expensive real quick, but like I said, I can get about 3 of these rough ground on 136 grit belt with ADCR V2, and then heat treat them. And of course, after they're heat treated, then I'm gonna run through the belts, you know. But at least I didn't run through the most expensive of belts. The most expensive belts that I use are the coarsest belts, the thickest, coarsest belts. That's the 36 grit ceramic shredder belts from Combat Abrasive. They're like $10.80, and I buy them in bulk, and they're not cheap. So every time I burn one, I'm not happy. And if I have to really go through them like crazy, like with the Nitro V, I'm eating belts. In fact, I'm out of belts in the shop entirely. I ran it down so much. I ran out of 36 grit belts doing this run, so I started supplementing in the 60 grit belts for the smaller knives. Now I'll do that sometimes, like the Wasp, Tradition Juniors, the Mantis Adventure Junior, the smaller knives that have a smaller, the grind is not as deep as it would be on a thinner or a thicker steel, you know. But anyhow, the grind is not as deep, and it's harder to get it as precise with a more coarse belt. So a lot of times I will just start rough grinding the junior models and the small models with a 60 grit belt anyway. But I don't use a whole lot of 60 grit belts. In fact, the only thing that I use 60 grit belts for is handle finishing, which I use it for the initial profiling of the handle and rough cutting it and getting it flushed in, and then I'll use 60 grit belts after heat treat on everything. The 60 grit belts usually always get used, but they'll last a good ways because I'm not taking off a whole bunch of material. So like when I grind these, I will grind them to 36 grit with but like pre-heat treat, I'll grind them to 36 grit, and after 36 grit I will run to a 120 grit. Now if you guys know anything about cutting glass, you know that you will score the glass, and then you will heat the glass up, and then you will quickly cool that section off. Wherever you scored it, it'll crack right there. Okay, so if you go and heat treat a blade that is full of score lines with like deep 36 grit scratches, you are inviting cracks and everything else to happen into your blade when you're doing differential heat treating. Now, when I'm doing differential heat treating with these, I'm using an anti-scale compound to kind of alleviate some of all of the air contact, oxygen contact. That's the #1 killer. ADCRV2 likes to surface defect. Its favorite surface defect is an orange peel or a bubble peel, and it's almost impossible to get out. It'll go really deep in there. So you got to use something like with the Nitro V, it's the foil packets that I put them in. That's what's protecting the blade from the oxygen. Especially above 1900 degrees, you got to have the foil because the anti-scale compound will just kind of burn off. Now, it's good for the carbon steel up to about 1500 degrees is where the range that we're talking heat treating in. So for the carbon steel, I'm using an anti-scale compound, and like I was saying, I like a 36 grit. Go ahead and take it down as close to those grind lines as possible, and then I'll use a 120 grit shredder ceramic to smooth it out, and that's for heat treat. And I do that again because I don't want any scoring lines in there and no cracks form in that event, as long as everything is smooth. But I also don't grind them to the thickness that I want for preheat treat. I want them to be just slightly thicker. That way I have room to work out anything that might happen, or just, you know, add a little extra beef and make sure that I'm not getting into warpage or anything. The biggest difference comes in drastic differences in thickness. So even if I have a small, let's say this Adventure, I can grind this down thinner. I can grind this down thinner and heat treat it thinner because this will cool off faster than this giant chunk of steel, right? So I don't want this to be around the same edge thickness as this when I quench it. Now, the difference in cooling time between this giant chunk of steel and this thin edge right here is going to be massively different. So I have to somewhat account for that and make sure that I don't go too thin on the edge. That being said, it leaves more for grinding afterwards. So that's where those 60 grit belts come in. After heat treat, the first belt that they get touched with is the 60 grit belt. And that is the way I get them down to the edge thickness that I want. You know, I get it, Muhammad. Listen, somebody just didn't pay you enough attention when you were a child, and that's not my problem, but you will have to find somebody that'll help you with that. So have a good day, sir. Somehow he keeps getting back in here. I keep throwing his stinking ass out the door, and he keeps sliding up underneath it. But anyway, 60 grit belt is where I go to for everything. after heat treat, and that is my final rough grind per se. And then I'll step it up 120, 220, 400 from there. You get it. If you watch my weekly lives where I grind in the shop, you know what that looks like anyway. So I have saved something good for the end of this live stream. A couple of new things that I wanted to show you. And one of them is a new model, and it's kind of new and it's kind of not new for me. So this is the Cub, and I decided to go with the Cub because that's what it was called originally. Cub being compact utility blade. In fact, my labels were exactly the same with Bloodline. In fact, I took my label, yes sir, I will show the dagger here in just a second. My labels, this one's crooked as hell. Did you put this on there? My goodness.
Yeah.
She wears glasses, so I got to give her a little bit of a break. All I did was change my Bloodline logo to Very Good Knife Co. and everything else is the same. So, this model right here I actually made, and instead of Cerakote, it was powder coated, and I've got some to show you. I'll show you here in just a second. But this one's called the Cub, and I've got 16 of them. Now, I used to have them water jet cut, and I only had it done once. I had about, I think I had 2 sheets of ADCRV2, 2 big sheets of ADCRV2, about 100 or 110 or so is what it ended up being. But, damn it. Cubs. Did you miss this whole conversation?
Yep.
Well, she's not paying attention. You guys are. Oh, look, one fell out on my foot. Here's an old one. Right here, you can see I used this one to try and test my, this was a long time ago, trying to figure out where I could put logos on them. But this one's stamped with BLK. Now, I've still got like 25 of these, or 30 of them sitting in the shop that are freaking stamped with BLK. Bloodline knives, that's what I used to do. And here I've got another, that's the black one. They're powder coated. And here's a green one. Pretty cool. Here's an orange one. And then the mist is, I had 5 colors. I had the green, the black, the orange. I had the a teal one. There's a teal one hiding in there somewhere. And then my late buddy Jordan, he had a, I'm not sure about a scale option. I'm not positive on that. I kind of like going with the Essie thing, you know. That's kind of what I was going for, is contending with the Izula. This was the Mrs. version right here. Hers had a little taco sheath, kind of similar to what they are now. But you see, I still had a whole bunch of these blades that were water jet cut and just rusted. They're ADCRV2. They were rusted and sitting in a box. And I never finished the project. I never, well, I got 17. I had 17 of these, 17 including this one, and I got 16 in boxes. This one is mine. I'm going to wear this around my neck, and if somebody buys it, whatever. It's not a big deal. I'll make more. However, one major difference between the old model and the new one. These are flat ground, and they're 3/16 stock, and I wish I wouldn't have flat ground them because the blade isn't wide enough. It's not wide enough. Like the Adventure is 3/16, and it works great because it's a wide blade, and I'm able to take that taper down the way that it needs to, where it doesn't feel like such a massively thick blade. However, these guys don't have that same kind of width as the Adventure, and I'm not able to get that taper right and get them where I want them. So I don't know if I will make any more like these first 17 from Very Good. Not BLK anymore. It's Very Good Knife Company. That's the logo that's on them. You see it says Cub ADCRV2. I will be selling the Cubs at Blade Show for sure. And if I end up with one left, Jeff, even if it's just the one that I have around my neck, then I'll get you one, bud. No worries. But anyway, the difference is these are flat ground, and they're the same blanks, same blades. They came out of the same, you know, it was the same run. This is just years before. And this is powder coat. I still have all this orange powder coat and orange paracord, and I just bought more rolls of like big rolls of paracord to do this handle wrapping. But and that's what the handles look like wrapped. I'm gonna wrap some of these, and I'm gonna leave some unwrapped. But these are hollow ground. These are not flat ground. I hollow ground them, and they are really thin. They're actually, let's see. I'll measure it and show you right now. Oh, you stay. Excuse. With the powder coat on the edge, they are right at right there, 18 thousandths behind the edge, and that's exactly where I wanted it to be. They're super slicey, but they're still super tough because even though it's a deep hollow grind, it's a thick spine, so that the angle is a little different. They're going to be super tough, but they're also super slicey. That being said, I don't know that I plan on doing any more in 3/16. A better option for this would be the 5/32. And that kind of steel, it just really, I don't know, I didn't really consider it a whole lot back then. But I am now, and I think the 5/32 would be a much better stock for this, and I would still like it to be flat ground as opposed to the hollow grind. However, like I said, given that these are the 3/16 stock and I wanted them to be more slicey, I just went ahead and hollow ground these first 16. So if nothing else, you guys have an opportunity at Blade Show for something potentially exclusive. If they are just so popular and it you know, it becomes a big topic of discussion why the hollow grind is a great option for this knife, then maybe I'll make a dual version. You know, they're like 120 bucks. That's what they're gonna go for. Again, if I could do them cheaper, I would, and I intend to, over time, as I get a little more streamlined, I would I would streamline the process, and really I would like to try and get it down around that 90-ish mark. And then it would be a contender. It would be competitive. You know, then we would have a real option, because that's, you know, that's getting Izula range there. Not saying that I'm trying to take that place, but this is my version of that. I own the CAD file. I built the CAD file. I designed this knife 110% on CAD. And this is not a great looking version of one. It's got a stupid thick edge. This was a Tormach edge that it just didn't turn out right. You know, this knife was obviously not what it was supposed to be, which is why it ended up being a laser test knife. But you know, that's what they used to look like, and now they look like. Where'd you go? It ran away. There it is. Now they look like this. So I've got 8 bronze, or 9 bronze with this one. 8 in bronze. 4 of those bronze have a green sheath. 4 of those bronze have a black sheath. And then I have Cerakote, bronze, Cerakote, black, and black. And then I have 8 in black Cerakote. Here is the black Cerakote. Look at those edges. Aren't they super pretty? My work has improved greatly from this, for sure. I mean, it's nice to look at. I mean, look at the thickness of that edge compared to the thickness of this edge, and the uniformity, the grind lines. I mean, everything is just, it's better. And, you know, I get that. This was close to 10 years ago. So, to be expected that you see your improvement. It's just cool to see, though, comparing past to present. But same blanks. They were cut from the same cloth, and I didn't make it through stamping all of them, so I took the ones that weren't stamped and I made them. I finished them out. And the only thing that held me back on releasing these earlier, because again, I've had these that long, I've had them the whole time that I've been doing very good, was the coating. They're 80 CRV2, so I just didn't want to put something out there that was going to rust, no handle, and they're going to rust. you know, with no coating. And again, I was powder coating them, which is okay. It's not as uniform. This is I didn't like the sheen of this particular powder coat. This got a texture. The orange is excessively textured. The orange powder coat that I got, it's excessively textured to the point where it collects everything. You can see the black, it collects everything. So, you know, it's just, look at the tip, how thick that is. It's dumb. I don't know why I thought this was good. Things we learn.
15 years ago, 10 years ago.
But yeah, it was. And the best powder coat that I have, and I still have some of it's probably no good, but I know where I got it. It's from Columbia Coatings. It's called the Military Green. I carried, would you mind fishing for one more thing in there?
Yeah.
My adventures, both of my adventures. The originals. My green adventures, I carried this powder coat. You know what? You're going to have a hard time convincing me that there is something better than this, even if the Cerakote is as good. The military green textured Cerakote powder coat from Columbia Coatings was seriously ridiculously tough stuff, and I mean ridiculously tough. I wore this shit out, and my knives are still green. So now I've got to say, after having gotten into Cerakote, because it's supposed to be even tougher than that, and thinner at that. The thing about the powder coat is it's so thick. You know, obviously it's going to have a little bit more wear resistance than a lot of things because of the thickness alone. But look, this knife has been batoned with. This knife was carried for 2.5 years. I carried this knife longer than I've carried any other knife. This right here is the original Adventure. This is the first one from Bloodline. This one has a bow drill divot in the handle, and I carried this knife for so long, and I got so attached to it. Traveled around the country with it doing shows. And I got attached to it. The sheath ended up splitting right here. You can see that little crack. And the knife will not stay in anymore. Alright, so, where'd my other one go? So if this gives you any sense of how long it was carried, this is an entire year. A year and a couple of days worth of carrying. I carried it almost exactly 365 days. And it never left my belt but to change pants. And you can see what it looks like. It got some love. It's worn out. I do plan to do some Cerakote for the Eagles eventually. I don't know when, but it might be by a, you know, if you want one, then just holler and I'll make you one. You know, that'll probably be more likely. You'll probably be more likely to get one like that than you will get one on a drop. This is probably going to be wild. But anyway, this is carried for a year. This is carried for a couple of years. Look at the difference in just the screws alone. So this screw has actually lost its flat face. These screws are flat on the top. I like them that way. They've got a little chamfer on the edge, and then they're flat on top. They're not round. I don't like the way that the round screws look. I don't know why, but I've always used the flat head screws. This one is no longer flat, it's round. That is, this is the difference between carried for a year and carried for a couple of years. But this thing absolutely went the distance with me, and I loved it every step of the way. And that powder coat, I tell you what, you just have a hard time convincing me that there's tougher things out there, except for the fact I'm not enjoying the thickness of it, because it changes things like the holes and you know, the Cerakote in truth for knives would be better. It should be better. I'm not the first powder coat knives. In fact, it came from everybody else powder coating knives. All the Essie knives are powder coated.
How does it help with the corrosion?
This knife has never been taken care of. It's never been oiled in its life, ever. Never. And it's 80 CRV2. And you can see there, it's not rusted anywhere at all. It will not rust under the powder coat or the Cerakote. It won't rust at all. I guarantee the rust prevention If nothing can get to the surface, then nothing is going to corrode the surface. So long as the surface was clean before, which it's not going to stick unless it's not going to stick this good if the surface wasn't clean. This has been batoned with. I mean, look, it's missing powder coat everywhere. It's got shiny spots everywhere, and yet there's no rust on this knife anywhere at all, and it's ADCR V2. So the next one that I carried after that, I replaced that knife with this knife, and this knife obviously got some serious love as well. It got carried for almost 2.5 years, about the same amount of time as well. This one is not stamped with bloodline because I had pretty much given up on that. I don't have a whole lot to say about that, but this one is stamped with 2 Jakes. This is the closest to the current adventure that I have. Now, I don't like the 3 screws right off the bat. I thought that the 3rd screw was unnecessary, so I dropped it down to 2. But you can see the blade shape on these, minus this one having been sharpened so much that it's come back. This is what the adventure blade shape morphed into. This is the original. This is the next one up. So the blade shape's pretty close. This one had too much space in here, so I shortened that, and I changed the handle just a good bit. So this is what the current adventure derived from. Of course, that original, but then this one is the closest form. You can see that they are essentially the same kind of knife, you know. At least the handle is almost identical anyway. But that's the original. This is my favorite as well. Tina Turner. That's my favorite as well. I carried this knife for about 8 months. I carried this knife from I replaced. Let's see, where'd it go? I replaced this adventure with this knife. This is the Nitro V test knife, and I have the video. Yeah, see this, Gabe. This one right here was even thinner than the adventure that I make now in here, and I agree that it was a little too narrow then as well. But you know, all the same, we develop as we go for sure. I think we just kind of like to change around. But anyway, I replaced that knife with this knife somewhere around, I don't know, you have to go back and look at when my test video was made. I carried this knife from the day that I made it all the way up until I replaced it with, where'd you go? What the flip? With my adventure that I just recently replaced with my Gen 3 the other day ago. So I got about 8, 9... no, not quite. It was like October or something. It was like October of 2021 that I made, or not 2021, 2023 or something like that. Yeah, 23. I made this one somewhere in October. This is like a Rambler. It's flat ground Nitro V, and this was the test knife that I did the video with. Eventually, it became a laser test knife, as you can see. But I carried this one a lot as well. You can see it got wet in the box somehow from something, but I replaced it with this knife, and I've carried this knife exactly a year, and that's what they look like after 1 year of everyday extremely hard use. This one's been hit with a hammer several times. You can see some strike marks on there. I've been very abusive with this knife, and but you know, half of the maker's point of carrying his own stuff every day, a belief in his own product, is a biggie, but you need to know what it's going to do, and people want to know what it's like, what it's going to look like after carrying it a while. So that's what they're going to look like. So moving on from the Cubs, I got something else special to show you. I don't know where I'm going to go with this, if anywhere. In fact, it's just too early to tell, and I can't say. But I've been wanting to do something like a pry bar for a long time, and so I made one, just for shits and giggles. This one is a Nitro V. I've got 2 of these actually, and they're just bead blasted. They're not super clean. They've got some oil on them, so they look kind of splotchy. Once I clean them up with some alcohol, they'll look better. But you see, this is a Nitro V. and they're tapered down. They've got a nice little grind, and they've got a slight edge, but it's not super sharp. Now I don't cut stuff. It's just not been stropped. If you want it super sharp, then you could strop it and make it really sharp. But they're not sharp enough for a sheath, in my opinion. I wouldn't say. And it's just a little bit of edge. But some Nitro V pry bars. I've got 2 of these. Those will be on the table if I sell them, or if there's any interest at all. I mean, shit, I'm not a pry bar maker. I'm a knife maker. But this derived from having scrap pieces of metal this size and scrap pieces of steel. But anyway, here's a couple of 80 CRV2 ones. These are, that's great to hear, Devin. I love it, man. I know a couple of people that are screaming hallelujah because they love their Ramblers as well. But anyway, hey Larry, thank you for all your support, my friend, and thank you for stopping by and watching and saying hi. I appreciate you, bud. Have a good one, man. Anyway, these right here are 80 CRV2, and they are Cerakoted bronze. Pretty cool. And then I've got 2 more pry bars. I've got 6 in total. 4 80 CRV2. 2 of the 80 CRV2 are black. 2 of the 80 CRV2 are bronze. Why I made them? Again, I don't know. I don't know. I guess so. Yeah, man, it's definitely a tool for sure. I'll be using these like a tool. If I don't sell one, which maybe I won't, I'll end up putting one in my pocket. In fact, I just used the Nitro V one today to fix one of these little white chairs that are in here. There's some like big giant clip that you have to push in really hard, and I use these to fix one of those. So they're I mean, I could say that they're going to be handy for sure. I don't feel like they would snap. They're really thick, you know. In truth, I don't know that you could get enough hand leverage on it to snap it. Was the point that I was trying to get at for myself. If you can't, like, hell, you can't even get a full hand on this and still have enough to really use. So with titanium, yeah, see, titanium has its tensile strength, and tensile strength is a lot different than structural strength. So wedge and bottle opener for sure, dude. A hell of a bottle opener. I would like to make another one like water jet or laser CNC done for sure on these. I don't want to be hand making these all the damn time. That's what I'm trying to say, I guess. But maybe eventually, which if I can get into some computer work and whatnot, then I will definitely be making more of those. You hush, she's coming back. All right. Well, for those of you who are still here, let's talk about the last 4 knives on the table to show, which a lot of you were in here earlier, and some of you just took off. This is the Signature Series. These are my prestige knives. Dude, absolutely a VGKC bottle opener is necessary. That and a koozie. I need a VGKC koozie and a VGKC bottle opener. Will be on point. That's ridiculous. A couple $100 for his tool steel prize. Holy shit. I mean, they gotta be nice. They better be. They better be for that much. Tool steel, like CPM steel. Yeah, so I did consider doing a Nesmuck for a while, like a 5-inch-ish blade Nesmuck, 5-inch-ish handle, somewhere around that tribute size, but like really Nesmuck in a flat grind. That would be cool for sure. I did kind of yeah, no, dude, don't even start me on that Magna Cut pry bar shit. Oh boy. Oh, Steven's been here long enough to learn how to get under my skin, too. All right. So, all right. Bird and trout models. That would be kind of my Wasp, or even Adventure Junior, but I want a dedicated bird and trout knife with a longer handle that you have more control over and a shorter blade, like 2 and 2-inch, 2.5-inch blade instead of 2 and 3 to 3-inch blade, 2 3/4. Anyway, Devin, keep a lookout for that, bud, and you might see one. Who knows? Anyway, let's move on to the Signature Series, and we'll wrap it up here. This is Signature Series number 12. This one will be sitting on the table, and it's pretty hot. This is Nitro V steel. I took and curved the little Nitro V thing to match the curvature of that plunge line, or the grind line right there. That faded grind line is super sweet. This one's flat grind. Man, this knife is captivating for sure. I love it. This one's got the grapevine file work pattern on the back. That all has to be done before you hush. Hush. She coming back. This one, all the file work has to be done on the Nitro V before heat treat. Yeah, this one's got a big Corby screw in the back, a 5/16 in the back, and then a 1/4 inch in the front. I like the look of a big in the back and small in the front. Where it's necessary. I don't need a bigger, thicker pin up here where it pinches down. Then it's just going to get into the radius of the handle too much. Pete, come here, buddy. Come here. Here's the cat. There's Pete the cat. He's a whining because Mama walked out and shut the door. Go on then, go whine. So, this right here has got dark matter red and ebony wood in the back. Fat carbon dark matter red and ebony wood in the back. It's pretty cool. Vibe linen composites, crimson red liners, and a white G10 liner and spacer as well. Yeah, Pete's pretty cool, man. Pete, fun fact about Pete. Pete is he is Pete the third in this house. So when I was a baby, my parents had a cat named Pete, and then he was long gone before I ever remembered him. But when I was a kid, about 10, I had a cat that looked just like Pete there, named Pete, and I had him all the way up. Hell, he lived until I was about 20 years old or so.
Yeah.
And didn't have a Pete for a very, very long time. We didn't have cats at all for a very long time. And then we had a cat that just, they just kind of show up every now and then. And we've got 2 cats now. One of them named Dorothy. She came from somewhere over the rainbow. That's why we call her Dorothy. I don't know where she came from, but she was a perfect, healthy little cat. And she came up and just said, I'm living here now. I don't care if you like it or not.
Turned me into a cat.
So, well, one day I was driving down the road locally here on a road called Asbestos Road because there was an asbestos mine on that road. Anyway, I was coming around a corner and I almost ran over little Pete there. He was about this big. He was a tiny. In fact, he was so small when I stopped the car and I jumped out and I grabbed him out of the road. Hell, I couldn't let him get run over. Nothing else was going to move him off the side of the road. But, he looked just like my last little Pete. He was so small that I put him inside of a cup holder. I put him inside of the cup holder, like the center console cup holder, to take him home. And he just kind of tucked down in there. He was about 4 or 5 weeks old, I guess. Little itty bitty shit. But anyway, there he is now. He was my shop cat for a long time at the old house. He likes motorcycles. He likes to sit on the motorcycles while they run. It's kind of weird. But I raised him that way. I'd set him on top of the motorcycles in the shop when he was just a tiny little shit, and he just got used to it. So It's been a long time since he's been on a motorcycle. I bet he does not like them now. So, anyway, back to the signature series before we were rudely interrupted by Pete. Anyway, here is, let's go in order. We didn't go in full order because I didn't show the dagger. I'll just wait for that one to show the best for last. My centerpiece of the table. So these signature series are going to be my centerpiece of the table. And the thing with the signature series, if you don't know, I will recreate any of these other knives that I've shown. I'll recreate any of them. Any of them. I don't care what it's got on it. I'll recreate it. But these signature series, I will not recreate. In fact, every single one of them says right there, 1 of 1. And in order for me to keep it that way, I can't recreate it. They just are what they are. And I know that some people will want to pay and they'll be like, man, look, I'll pay you good. Then you're devaluing the other one that's out there, though. And I just can't do that to the people that bought it. So they bought it as a 1 of 1. It's going to stay a 1 of 1. I guarantee it. This is number 13. Pretty good looking knife. So this one is probably 9 inches, 9.5 inches overall, 9-ish inches overall. It's got about 4-inch, very deep hollow ground blade. It's a 3/16 stock, so it's really thick and it can support a super deep, deep hollow grind like that. We measured this one earlier. It was somewhere around that 15 thousandths behind the edge, somewhere around in there. It's really thin and slicey. This is bead blast finish. This has got a double grind with a big giant swedge on the back. It's apexed, but it's not sharpened. But it looks really, really nice. Very nicely ground right down the middle. It's got a big old sharpening choil, which I'm not insane about the use of sharpening choils. I certainly hate them on EDC knives, but they look really good in certain cases, and they look good in this case. So I like how the grind splits the choil. It's just a look that I like. That swedge is definitely killer, dude. It's awesome. I love a big swedge. You guys know I like swedges. I put swedges on anything that'll help. If I can put it on it, I'm gonna put it on it. So I got far back into here, into handle zone with that swedge grind. You can see it ends somewhere in here. And I wanted my handle to kind of mimic that. So I went under it at that, not quite the same angle, but similar. The closer you try to match it, then the more visible the imperfection of the lack of match becomes, So you don't want it too damn perfect. But anyway, the top of that joint, or that crease right there, just about meets this perfect. It looks really good. I'm happy with how it turned out. It's a great looking knife. It's got double black. This is Macecraft double black micarta. This is the same kind of micarta that is on. It's not green, but this is double green. This is Macecraft double green. This is Macecraft double black, and it's very different from the black micarta that I use on a regular. This is a very, very high quality micarta. It's a lot harder to work with too. It's just tackier because of the extra color, and there's extra canvas. That's a very nice quality micarta, and I've saved it for this purpose, doing nicer stuff. It holds its color better. The double black is definitely darker than the regular black that we're here's a single black micarta, and you can see the layers of canvas micarta in there. Now, one big difference between double colors and regular colored micarta is a lot of the times when you get double color micarta, the canvas itself is dyed the color that the resin is dyed previous to putting it all together, like layering it and making the actual micarta. So whereas this would be a regular canvas, like a canvas would be a white tannish look. Natural canvas this is nat canvas that's been aged, of course, but it's a lighter natural tannish color. And the difference is very obvious. You can see those fibers in this. This is the single color. So just the resin in this is black. That makes it a black micarta. Now this, the resin and the canvas itself is black. That makes it a double black. So you can see at no point throughout its life of drying out will it start to look like this, because this canvas is not black. This canvas is, and you see what I'm talking about there. However, the double colors are considerably more expensive. They're harder to work with. You know, they're just not the same all around. This is a lot more cost effective. It's easier to work with. It runs faster. And in truth, if I'm being 100% truthful, I think that the grip this provides is better than the double colors, because the double colors are harder as a whole, and they tend to not give me the kind of that kind of fraying of the edges that we need for grip from the micarta. It doesn't really want to do that. The double colors, that's saying. Because you can see, like this is a single black, and you can see that it's aged, but you can still see the lines in it. You see the lines, how it's lightening up. That's because the canvas isn't black. The canvas is canvas colored. This is double black. So this has got the lunar white 5 linen composites liners, and it also has some blue G10 accent in that dovetail there. It's really good looking. I think it adds just the right amount of color. This is again double black micarta and white storm fat carbon. Pretty sweet. And it comes with a gray sheath. And that's all for number 13. Now we'll move on to number 14. Number 14 right here. This is another Nitro V blade. This one is 5/32 stock. See there, number 14. Pretty sweet. This one has the rare, for Very Good Knife Company, stag, elk stag on the back. And up front, it's got that vintage linen micarta we was talking about earlier. You can see how it kind of fades to its own darkness on the inside. Above that liner, it almost looks like there's another liner there. That's just the color of the micarta. It's just that cool. But, you know, contouring it, I ground a lot of the dark caramel color on the outside off and revealed the more butterscotchy caramel linen on the inside. This is a super good looking piece of micarta, and I don't have much left of it. But it is what it is. Now, this one has got some inlay. This one is inlaid with fat carbon jungle wear. It's almost like a green emerald gemstone in there, the way it's inlaid. So the inlay on this is dovetailed about 10 degrees on each side, and that way the inlay never pops out. The inlay also has some orange spacers in there. Pretty sweet. And the main liner on this one is the Vibe Composites linen green. I think it was called the Shamrock Green linen micarta liner on there. It's a very, very, very attractive green, especially if you're into green. I love it. Oh, and I didn't even go over the blade on this guy. This one is hollow ground. It's about 3 3/4 inch blade, and this one has got an offset pattern on it. It makes it like a zigzag pattern down the spine, jimping, that I filed into before heat treat, of course. And then it's got a little swedge up top, just a small little swedge. This is a great looking knife, and it's got that stag that I just don't really do much. I've done enough stag for a lifetime. But anyhow, that's number 14. Now, we didn't go in full order, but again, we're saving the best for last here. This is the last knife that I'm going to show, and then I'm going to call it off because it's like 11:30 at night, and I've been at this for several hours. 199 minutes and 18 seconds. Holy shit. That's 3 hours and 20 minutes. That's ridiculous. So, this right here, Johnny Boy for Soccer put his number. Hey man, that's awesome. There's another guy that carries his signature series. So that I know of 3 people that carry daily a signature series, and he's got a really nice one. That number 3 was like a Warncliffe, and it had purple haze. I want to say purple haze, and the burgundy micarta with some white and gray and black liners, and it was an awesome knife with some awesome jimping on the back, and it was a flat. Man, it was a really, really, really cool knife. I would have carried the shit out of that knife for sure. But I'm happy to hear you're still using it, man. That's great. So this is signature series number 11, and this will be the centerpiece of my table. With all the basic stuff here that I've got, and even though this isn't that much more, I guess it is a pretty good step up. So this one is well, how long is it? I don't even know. I never did any measurements on it. So this one has a 6.5-inch blade. 6.5-inch blade, and it's about 12 inches overall. It's right at 12 inches. It's 11 and 15/16, if not 12 inches. Try not to touch it with the ruler. I'm proud of this one. I'm really proud of this one. I mean, I'm proud of all my work, and I'm proud of where I've come from and gotten to, but you know, this one I'm really happy with. And I spent a lot of time on this. I sat on this blade for months. Some of you guys that have been watching the live streams in the shop, you guys saw me profile this out, or I don't even remember what all I've done with it on live stream, but I've showed it a bunch, and I've been building up the anticipation for myself of finishing this, I guess. But this is what it looks like. So it's got fat carbon, 3K twill. It's a little challenging to get it right, and it's all 100%. There's no jigs. I don't use jigs. You guys watch my live streams, you know I don't use jigs to grind anything. It's all free-handed. But this guy, Nitro V. See, I snuck that little Nitro V in there right there. I actually took the handle off for this to engrave that because it's so close, but I just thought it was really cool sneaking it in there. And then it says, you know, my signature, because this is a signature series, and then 1 of 1. I'll never make another one like this. I might make it, you know, similar, but it ain't going to be like this one. This is the only one of its kind from me. I wanted a bolstered look, but I didn't want bolsters per se. I just wanted the look. So what I did was I bolstered in with Fat Carbon's 3K twill on the front and back, at the guard and the pommel. Now I was going to cut the handle short and leave a little bit of the pommel exposed. I decided not to do that after I got into it. I just thought it would look a little cleaner like this. But you can see that bolstered look, and I had a piece of Fat Carbon picked out for this knife before the knife was even finished as well. I mean, before it was even ground, I knew what I wanted to do with that stuff, and I ordered it specifically for this too. And it's been sitting there waiting for this knife to get finished, and that is the Uni Copper from Fat Carbon. For real, man, this would be a hell of a dive knife, right? You might cut the shit out of yourself though with this. Then dive knives are supposed to have like a blunter tip because you can't see as well. I know for a fact that if I was underwater trying to feel around, if it got murky or sandy at all, I would stab the shit out of myself with this. So I just would. Anyway, this the bolsters on this are dovetailed up front and on the back. There is a black liner that runs only underneath everything. And then there is another, it's so hard to see. There is another liner that it only outlines the center piece, not the bolsters. The bolsters are connected to the black, and then under that, I wanted to outline the unicopper itself and make it stand out and not blend in so much. So it's got a gray spacer into that dovetail, and that spacer goes all the way around on both dovetails on both sides, and it is, I mean, some of the cleanest work that I've ever done. It's just really nice, and everything meets up. I mean, I couldn't ask for any more perfect, honestly. It couldn't have gotten any more perfect for me. I'm happy with it to a very high level. I'm happy with it. So that'll be on the table at Blade Show. And if somebody wants to pay me what I'm asking for it, then they can take it home. And if nobody wants to pay me what I'm asking for it, then I guarantee you I will be so happy to take this home, because once it goes home, no one will ever touch this again. I promise you that. So if somebody's watching and somebody wants this and you're thinking about it, if you got the money and you got to have it, don't hesitate, because if it goes home with me, it never goes anywhere again. I will keep it for the rest of my life. I love it that much. This was the #1 knife in the entire run for me. The #2 knife for me would probably be that First Strike. Let's go over that one more time, since we're just going over the best ones, right? Even over those Signature Series, this thing is freaking badass. Now this has got that same 3K twill as the bolsters on this guy. Of course, it's just a solid color. But anyway, that is probably #2 for me. And then my third pick, even over all of the fat carbon stuff, I like this tribute so much. This would be #3 for me. I think this is one of the best looking knives on the table for sure. The green sheath and the burlap with that bronze, that Gen 3. Oh man, it's so awesome. Dude, my voice is starting to go hoarse, and I'm starting to feel it in my throat how much I've been talking. I don't talk this much throughout like a year, to be honest. You might be lucky to get this many words out of me for a year. So, you guys are lucky. Oh, but hell, I love you guys, each and every one of you, and I appreciate all of your support. I appreciate you being here and just saying, hey, no matter what happens, I'm happy. What's up, John Mustafa? You come in just at the right time, man. Hey, since you're here, I'll show you the cream of the crop just before we take off, because I am 3.5 hours into this live stream now, and dude, I'm ready to sit down and finish this glass of whiskey and drink a little drink and smoke a little smoke. So, what's up, Jeff? Good to see you. Oh man, everybody popping in just at the right time. Now, man, this is a Signature Series, and this is a 1 of 1. This one is the this is going to be the centerpiece of my table at Blade Show. Pretty dang sweet. Unicopper in the center. It's got those 3K twill bolsters. This thing's awesome. It is chunky, but again, you know, when you do double grinds like this, you take away so much of the blade. You kind of need that weight in the back to help balance it out, because a good dagger should be slightly handle heavy, and this one balances right. I mean, on that center screw, it's just slightly handle heavy. When you hold it, it feels fast and flowy and light. I don't care. I'd probably never cut anything with this knife if I was to keep it. So anyway, guys, I'm ready to sit down so bad. My legs are starting to shake and my voice is starting to crack. I've been talking for 3.5 hours, and again, that's more talking than I like to do, even if I was paid to do it. So, but I love you guys, and I really appreciate all of your support. I really appreciate everybody being here and just saying, hey, you know, and it's just awesome. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope to see some of you at Blade Show. This is the last you're going to see of me for at least a week. It's probably going to be a week before you see anything out of me. At least, of course, you're going to see some stuff at Blade Show, but, you know, I'm going to be pretty dang busy there, and I won't be able to do much. So, thanks, Jeff. You too, brother. Thanks, Johnny Boy. I appreciate it. Hey, man, don't kill that knife too much. Put some patina on her, and then it's time to, yeah, hell. You carry that thing and use it, man. I love it. I'll see you guys during Blade Show, and I'll show you everything as it's set up on the table. I'll show you guys around Blade Show, too. Hell, who knows? Who knows? But I'll have some t-shirts and all of these sweet knives that I just showed for anybody that wants to go back and skip through, and you can watch I showed everything. It's pretty cool. So, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.